The National League wildcard round kicks off today in Atlanta, where the Braves and Cincinnati Reds meet for just the second time in the postseason. It's day 2 of baseball's fall frenzy, with a Major League record 8 postseason games on tap today.
The fall frenzy, 16 teams across 4 rounds.
This particular format leaves everybody more vulnerable.
When you have that idea that you have to win every day, that gets you ready for a playoff situation.
Simply unbelievable!
Did they do it again? Yes, sir!
Talk about excitement. 16 teams playing for their lives right off the bat.
You will have a postseason to remember! And welcome to the 2020 Wildcard Series presented by Hankook Tire. Today in Atlanta, it's the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves in a best-of-3 wildcard round match. Joey Votto's the lone remaining Red that knows what it's like to play in the postseason as a Cincinnati Red. And for Ronald Acuna, he's done nothing to play in the postseason every year to begin his promising Major League career. Welcome inside the studio with Alex Rodriguez, Matt Vasgersian. We wrapped up day 1 of the postseason yesterday with the Yankees taking care of the Cleveland Indians. We open day 2 today. 8 games on tap. This is like a commuter flight schedule. There's one every hour taking off.
And like Ernie Banks said, let's play 2 for you and I today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun watching both of these games. We start with the Atlanta Braves and the Reds, and let's pick up with the Braves winning 3 straight division titles. They clinched their 3rd straight just over a week ago, and Atlanta, powered by great pitching, has made it 3 straight NL Eastern Division flags. Max Fried headlines the staff. There were underperformance issues and injuries among the other starters that we'll get into. Make no mistake, these Braves are fueled by their big bats. Freddie Freeman is the legit MVP candidate. Acuna's always a threat. Marcell Ozuna has been a brilliant 1A. This is a big-time lineup.
Big time, and this is not your Bobby Cox with the Hall of Fame pitchers, Smoltz, Maddox, Glavine. This lineup could be the best in baseball, and they can smash. They hit with power, they crush the fastball. Get this, Matty, something to watch today. Ozuna, it's .492 against the fastball. Bauer should watch that today.
Bauer's got the big curveball maybe to mitigate that. Yeah. And let's talk about the Reds and the fact that they're fueled by great starting pitching. That's been the case for Cincinnati the last couple of years. The Reds needed to get hot down the stretch to get into this tournament of 16. They went 11-3 over their last 2 weeks. Starters ERA, 4th best in the circuit. Strikeout rate led Major League Baseball. And the linchpin for their staff, their big strikeout star, is the Cy Young favorite. Yeah, I'll call him the favorite in a crowded field, Trevor Bauer, who goes in game 1 today.
When they asked him, should I be the favorite, he said, of course. What do you think? I mean, this guy, I'm so excited to watch. You can see anything today. A lot of shenanigans, maybe dancing, maybe singing, trash talking. But what you're going to see is one of the best pitchers in the game. He's got all 4 pitches. He's going to need him against this great lineup. And the curveball you mentioned, that's his signature pitch. Establish it early.
Yeah, and neither team holding back their ace for a game 2, because opposing Trevor Bauer, it's going to be Max Fried, who didn't throw a lot down the stretch due to a couple of injury issues, declared fit and ready for this one after a perfectly unblemished 7-0 regular season. We are buckled in for a good one, the first of 8 postseason games on a dream day for baseball fans. We're back with the starting lineups and the opening pitch from Atlanta next. The Wildcard Series is presented by Hankook Tire, never halfway. But we are all set for a series opener in a fascinating matchup between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. There are some statistical similarities, but there are some vast differences as to how these 2 teams have reached the postseason. With that, we say good afternoon to our colleague Buster Olney.
Matt, the Cincinnati Reds finished 27th out of 30 teams in runs scored during the 60-game season. But when we talked to manager David Bell before, he mentioned he really feels like that the Reds were unlucky this year. And you know what? The stats completely back him up on that. The Cincinnati Reds this year, .244 batting average on balls in play. That is by far the lowest in the big leagues. The Atlanta Braves, #1, batting .322. Joey Votto, their first baseman, says, we haven't even played our best baseball yet. Matt, they're here, and they're dangerous.
Best of 3. 2 wins to move on to the National League Division Series. Max Fried ready to go to work to put the opening touches on his first postseason start. And the first pitch he throws is sent into the corner. Nick Senzel has a first pitch base hit to start the day. Fried a perfect 7-0 in his 11 starts this year. More importantly than his personal numbers there, the fact that the Braves were winners in 10 of his 11 assignments this season.
Yeah, and the young left-hander has a fastball, a curveball, a slider, an occasional change. He'll throw about 5 to 7 per game.
Senzel aboard to start the first, and here's Nick Castellanos now. Let's set the rest of the Reds starting lineup. Senzel, by the way, leading off for just the 3rd time this year. A lot of changes for Reds fans. Note Jesse Winker, the left-handed hitting DH, who was gangbusters in August, cooled off in September. Yet David Bell likes his approach against left-handed starting pitching, and Winker's in there at DH batting 7th this afternoon. This is the first time all year that David Bell has used this particular lineup configuration, as Castellanos has a base hit up the middle. Senzel stumbled getting around the second base bag, but he's in safely at third, and here come the Reds right out of the gate today.
Reds coming out with their hitting hats. First pitch fastball, base hit the other way. This time is the curveball. Nice hitting, waiting back, and the Reds are set up 1st and 3rd.
You know, a part of this story today, as Joey Votto digs in with runners at the corners, is the fact that Max Fried has not pitched a lot of late. He had a 12-day IL stint, suffering from back spasms. He turned his left ankle in his last start, and that was Wednesday against the Marlins. Ended up going only 1 inning. So the result is Max Fried has thrown a total of 6 big league innings in the last 25 days.
Yeah, and only faced 25 batters, Matty. And the thing to watch early on, 4 pitches, already stressful throws here. The thing to focus on.
Votto bounces it to first base. Freeman picks it up and gets an out there. 2nd and 3rd now with 1 gone.
And a poor bat there by Votto. 2 good things there for the Braves. They get an out and they keep that runner at third base.
So now a chance for Eugenio Suarez. 15 homers, 38 RBIs during the regular season. Was able to get his batting average just over the so-called Mendoza line at 202 to end the regular season. And a base hit can put the Cincinnati Reds on the board with a couple here early on. And the first pitch is lined to shortstop. Some aggressive swings by the Reds to start the afternoon.
6 pitches and 4 balls have been put in play. I haven't even had a chance to tell you what I would look for with Fried. These guys are ready to go. It's fastball location and what kind of movement, what kind of control. But if you're Max Fried and you're the Braves, they are telling you how they're going to attack you the next 2 or 3 days. Is they're going to be very aggressive. On the flip side of that, Max Fried, go into your 0-2 pitch right away. Do not get over for strike 1. Aaron Judge for the Yankees made him pay early. Don't make that same mistake here today.
Here's Mike Moustakas now, takes a ball outside. Moustakas, 8 homers, 27 RBIs in his first season as a Red. A 3-time All-Star, signing a 4-year deal to come to Cincinnati in the offseason. And a chopper foul. Ball and a strike to Mike Moustakas. Well, for the Cincinnati Reds, This marks their first postseason appearance since 2013. As we mentioned at the top of the telecast, only Joey Votto remains from their last postseason roster. A team that was 6 games under 500 as recently as September 12th. Look at this. Fried's going to get out of the inning. Back-to-back singles open the first, but Fried's able to hang a 0 to start tonight. Titles for Brian Snitker as he deploys a lineup in game 1 of this wild card series today that he is yet to use all year, much the way David Bell's going with the new group. It's going to be Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna. Darno, Albies, and Duvall, Dansby, Swanson, Nick Markakis, and Austin Riley. Adam Duvall had a huge September, 11 of his 16 homers coming that month. He was an all-star with the Reds in 2016. On the mound for the Reds today, a 2018 all-star himself, and likely the front-runner for National League Cy Young honors, Trevor Bauer.
29 years old, he has it all. Fastball, a cutter, a curveball, a slider, an occasional changeup, and he's going to attack you early.
Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna start things for Atlanta.
When they asked Trevor Bauer this week, how do you beat the Atlanta Braves? He said, walk nobody, attack and throw strikes.
Boy, his walk to strikeout numbers through the regular season were just otherworldly. Maddox-like, if I may. 100 strikeouts, 17 walks over his 11 starting assignments during the regular season. Ball's behind Acuna to start the day. Sharp breaking ball swung on and missed. Ronald Acuna ended the regular season 0 for his last 7. There was some question as to his availability in this series because of a sore left wrist. Same wrist that landed him on the IL during the regular season. But some time off. And Brian Snitker told us there is no concern about Acuna from a health standpoint today. 3-1 pitch is hit in the air out to shallow center field. Senzel out of the shadows. And there's one gone for Trevor Bauer.
Matty, you mentioned shadows. It's very bright out there. Tough to hit. You see the backdrop right there. Sun to shadow. So something to watch, especially with breaking balls. Very difficult to pick up spin.
So the presumptive National League Cy Young Award winner will face, in my opinion, the presumptive National League MVP. Although you could debate both of those honors. Freddie Freeman with a ball into the corner. A great running grab by Castellanos. Freddie hit that one right on the screws.
Little breaking ball and a great jump here by Castellanos. Really nice, knowing what the track is, the wall. Excellent play, and Bauer loves it.
Yeah, Nick consulting the card. There's nothing on that card that talks about the shadows at noon Eastern in Atlanta. Very unusual start time today, especially considering we're in the early fall. Here's Marcell Ozuna now. He too offers it the first pitch, and he skies a more routine chance into right field, and it's a very quick 1-2-3 start to the game for Trevor Bauer. On to the second, scoreless in Atlanta. Match up for some insights for the fans at home. These are some broad strokes. The Reds hit the long ball, more percentage, a higher percentage of runs via the homer than any team in the history of Major League Baseball. And for the Braves, they've got to cash in on what they would figure are rare opportunities when they get runners in scoring position. Trevor Bauer tightens up with men on with the best of them. A quick first inning as we head to the second in Atlanta. Aristides Aquino will lead things off. Aquino, Winker, and Farmer here for Cincinnati. So we played the guessing game today, Alex and Buster, when we got to work in anticipation of the early start today. And we thought, what's the Reds lineup going to look like today? Because there are choices for David Bell. I, for one, was, I guess, pleasantly surprised to see this young man in the lineup today, Aristides Aquino. When you consider he was on the shuttle up and down between the alternate training sites seemingly all year long, didn't break camp with the big league team, and seemed to be out of the plans, I was somewhat surprised to see him in the lineup this afternoon.
He looks good. I mean, looks good. He's 6'4", has power, great body, from La República Dominicana.
0-2 from Fried. Aquino had 19 homers in 56 games and kind of took the league by storm last summer as a late season call up.
Signed by the Reds at 16 years old.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. I mean, when you're wearing Adam Dunn's old number and you're playing for the Reds, we kind of get the profile.
You know, I think Dunn, but I actually think Eric Davis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Tony Batista with that stance.
I like
he
it.
Punches a one hopper to the right side. Fried doing a nice job to get off the mound quickly. There's one away. And speaking of Max Fried, StatCast powered by Google Cloud, that last plate appearance, perfect example of the soft contact that Fried induces. Only 25% of what he allowed was considered hard hit this year. Hard hit defined as 95 miles or more off the bat.
And I like that. And the challenge for the Reds, they usually only score with a long ball. The Braves don't give up the long ball. So that first inning, Joey Votto's at bat may be a big one that we come back to and say, boy, we left an incredible opportunity out there.
Here's the Reds DH today, Jesse Winker. Led the team in OPS during the regular season. It takes kind of an excuse me pass at a chum breaking ball.
Matty, we've seen 21 pitches, 14 swings. These boys are in a hurry.
Well, for a lot of these players, especially on the Red side, it's a first-time postseason experience for guys like Aquino, Winker, Kyle Farmer, who waits on deck. Recalling your first postseason game, was the anxiousness a part of your plate approach? Because you hear pitchers talk about it a lot. I'm going to feed off the anxiousness of a first-year postseason hitter.
For me, I was fortunate. I was only 19 years old in 1995. It was that classic series against the Yankees where Edgar Martinez went off. He had the big home run, grand slam, grand salami time, like the great Dave Niehaus used to say. And, of course, he had that double of Blackjack McDowell scoring Griffey and saving baseball in Seattle. So I was a bit nervous, to say the least.
Fried trying to make Winker get himself out with that pitch, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Matt, yesterday, Joey Votto, who was the last remaining member of the Reds, the last time Cincinnati was in the postseason, he told reporters he couldn't wait to start this. He was glad they're starting the noon game because he didn't want to wait around all day.
Breaking ball bounced harmlessly to first. Another chance for Freeman, who's already been busy today. 2 gone.
Buster, I feel the same way. That's a great point. I remember when we played some of the postseason games in the mid to late 90s against the White Sox. I really enjoyed the early game. You just wake up, you're ready to go, and does not give you a lot of time to think about it too much.
2 gone, bases empty now for the shortstop, Kyle Farmer. Farmer has played a variety of infield positions for David Bell this year, and he takes a first pitch strike. You know, you could understand for Joey Votto the anxiousness to play, get back to the postseason. He doesn't care if it's a noon start or a 10 p.m. Eastern start. Last time he was here was 2013. A wild card loss to the Pirates. The Reds were shut out. Votto went 0 for 4 in that one. Prior to that postseason appearance, the Reds were
here in 2012. And Votto had a big series in a 5-game division series loss to the Giants. That was a game that a lot of folks thought the Reds had iced down. That series, as a matter of fact, the Reds looked like they were going to step on the neck and finish it off. The Giants came back and eventually won a World Series title that year.
Yeah, and as Votto said this particular week, he said, I like this team a lot better. We are bleeping hard to deal with, which I liked it.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Kyle Farmer. Wrapped to shortstop. Swanson, as sure as they get. 6 in a row retired by Max Fried after the leadoff singles. Scoreless in Atlanta.
Show me the MLB postseason schedule.
National League postseason schedule begins today. We've kicked it off with the Reds and Braves. Marlins and Cubs are on ABC at 2 Eastern, 5 Eastern for the Cardinals and Padres. And then the Brewers and Dodgers wrap up the night back here on ESPN at 10 Eastern. In terms of the pitching assignments, boy, the Padres didn't really let you know what was going on until it was revealed that Chris Paddock is starting the game today, and Buster has the backstory on that. Brent Suter was a late announcement by the Brewers yesterday to challenge Walker Buehler. And again on ABC at 2 Eastern, Sandy Alcantara and Kyle Hendricks, the professor, on the mound at Wrigley Field. Great National League action in the wild card round today. It is Trevor Bauer back to work here in the bottom of the second. Buster, let's pay that off because we didn't know who was going to start game 1 for the Padres in that series with St. Louis until it was revealed yesterday in rather unusual terms.
By the Cardinals manager, Mike Shildt, who told reporters before the Padres announced it. And Jay Stingler, the manager of the Padres, told reporters, yeah, Shildt kind of let that one out a little bit earlier. Mike Shildt apologized for revealing the San Diego starter.
Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, and Adam Duvall here in the second for Atlanta. d'Arnaud ended the regular season by reaching base safely in his final 16 games. This is his 6th career postseason series. And off the end of the bat, bounced harmlessly to second for Moustakas. So what does a start day look like for Trevor Bauer when he arrives at the ballpark?
About 10:30 this morning, walking barefoot, getting ready for his pre-yoga class.
So from the barefoot pregame to the personalized kicks, TrevorBauer.com. Boy, who knows what you're going to find on TrevorBauer.com. A lot of opinions, I'm sure. His first pitch to Ozzie Albies is bounced to Votto, who fumbles it, and Albies is aboard safely. First Atlanta base runner of the day. One that's likely going to be scored as an E3.
Last year, it was Freeman who made a big error in the first inning that led to a 10-run first inning. Votto obviously hoping this doesn't lead to 10 runs, but a play he should make.
Minimizing base runners is going to be important for Trevor Bauer due to the fact that there's just so much home run pop in the Atlanta lineup. And Adam Duvall is certainly a part of that. 16 home runs this year, 11 of them coming in that big month of September as he swings and misses at a breaking ball. Former Red, as we talked about, an All-Star in Cincinnati in 2016, his lone All-Star season. He has homered in his previous 6 plate appearances against Trevor Bauer. You know, to kind of finish the thought, and we'll probably revisit it again on Trevor Bauer, and we kind of mentioned as an aside, on his website. You'll likely get a lot of opinions. He is one of the most, if not the most, opinionated starting pitcher in our sport. And in visiting with David Bell before the game, we asked him what the relationship's been like since Trevor was acquired via trade last year. And he said it's been a good one, but I really had to try to get to know Trevor. And once I did, I was impressed by not only his competitiveness and his willingness to do whatever it takes to win, but by his thoughtfulness.
And, you know, David Bell was my teammate with Seattle back in 2000, and I agree with David Bell here, the manager of the Reds. I had an opportunity to go on his podcast, and I really enjoyed him. I thought he was opinionated, but he was smart. He was thoughtful, and quite enjoyable.
0-2 to Duvall is popped up and fouled away. I mean, you could certainly check past incidents and not incorrectly label Trevor controversial, and I think he'd probably agree with that. He's not one to buy into political correctness. He had his own way of doing things when he came up as a young Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher. Runner goes, throw down to second base. He is not in time to catch Albies, a stolen base.
You know, error by Votto turns into a double here. Albies, good jump. Old school head first. Good slide. And a good tag.
So runner at second and a 1-2 count to Adam Duvall.
Wondering if they're reviewing this here.
Yeah, they're going to take another look. By the way, that ball that was misplayed by Votto was ruled a hit.
Oh, wow.
Somehow.
That was not a hit.
You see anything here to overturn this call?
Ooh. Not on that one.
Yeah, can't see anything from that one. This one might give us a look. It's a hand there. Man, is that close. Oh, man. Alan Porter, the second base umpire on this 6-man postseason crew. I didn't see enough there to overturn it, Alex.
Joe West is the crew chief, 42nd year in the major leagues. Cowboy Joe. You know, focus here where that helmet gets a little bit in the way.
Looks like he's on the bag. Wow. I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. Yep. Call will stand. Not enough to overturn it, and Albies has a successful stolen base. Based on how close that was, though, it's not a bad challenge for David Bell.
They should challenge the call because that was an error, not a hit.
Challenge the scoring.
Look at Porter moving here. Alan Porter, the second base umpire. As an umpire, you want to be stationed and you want your head to be very still. When you're on the move, it's very difficult to get it right. A little bit out of position for Alan Porter there.
Back to work on Duvall, the 1-2, and a curveball takes care of him. The first strikeout of the day for Trevor Bauer. He has got a good one.
Money pitch, the slider. Slider, slurve, and he'll play with it. 2 strikes, a little tighter. Get me over for strike 1 or middle counts.
We gave you that number when we went on the air. How Bauer tightens up with runners in scoring position, allows just an 86-cent batting average. And now it's Dansby Swanson. First pitch fastball fouled off. Swanson spent much of the season in the absence of Ronald Acuna leading off for the Braves, and the team didn't miss a beat with him at the top of the lineup card. Dansby playing in his second postseason series. Had a big division series against the Cardinals last year, 7 for 18 in that 5-game loss.
Matt, Alex Anthopoulos, their general manager, told me that he really watches Swanson play and feels like he's someone who just loves the big stage, and he wasn't surprised at all that he thrived in the playoffs last year.
Ball and a strike to him. 2-out base runner in scoring position is Albies. Swanson was all lined up to make his postseason debut back in 2018 when the Braves won their first of 3 straight Eastern Division titles. But he was hurt down the stretch, partially torn ligaments in his left hand, and he was unable to play in that series.
Finished strong this year, 9 for 25 down the stretch.
Big fastball elevated to get a swing and a miss.
Good fastball there, top of the zone, and this will set up the slider that you'll probably see right here. With men in scoring position this year, Bauer just 3 for 35. So when the tough gets going, so does Mr. Bauer.
All 3 of his outs in the first inning came on cutters. Struck out Duvall on a breaking ball. Let's see what he has. 2-2 for Swanson here. There's that little slider again. Back-to-back strikeouts. Strand a runner in scoring position. You can Authentic caps, tees, jerseys, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and cheer on your team at home with the official source, MLBshop.com. That beautiful afternoon in Atlanta. A lot of fans gathered outside the ballpark to watch this one on the big screen. Hello to all of you. You think they have the sound of the telecast on out there, or is
they probably put it on mute?
Just like the rest of the world?
But in all seriousness, what a phenomenal job the front office done with that stadium, that field, the atmosphere around it.
A little chopper to the left side of the infield off the bat of Kurt Casale opens the third. 1 gone for Max Fried.
Yeah.
Well, still to come today, and there are 7 more wild card round games to come. They're firing off about every hour. Coming up at 1 Eastern on ESPN2, 2-time All-Star Alex Bregman and the Astros look to finish off the Twins after a really surprising result yesterday in Minneapolis.
It would be a fascinating story if the Astros do advance as they get deeper into the postseason. Talking about all the cat calls, I mean, they avoided a lot of the spotlight on them early and may come right back to them there.
Nick Senzel has seen 2 pitches today and has 2 base hits. A 1-out single in the third. You know, a part of that, the intrigue around that game 2 between the Astros and Twins, Alex, as we take a look at this pass again by Senzel, is the fact that for Dusty Baker, it's an opportunity to close out a series. As a manager, Dusty's teams have lost 10 straight series, which is an amazing number when you think about it. There's Castellanos now. And then on the other side of it, Minnesota, I mean, at some point they have to win a postseason game, don't they?
You like to think so. I mean, they do so many things well. Oh, maybe the left elbow. I'm sorry, left shoulder. He jammed it when he got into that bag.
Well, Senzel asked for the trainer to come out immediately.
He was leaning a little bit.
Man, guy's off to such a great start today.
You know, with a 12 o'clock start, Matty, you have a noon start. One of the things I always told myself is make sure you get out there early and warm up an extra 30 minutes because the body's used to playing at 7 o'clock prime time. This game sneaks up on you a little bit, and hopefully he looks like he's okay.
I'm not a lip reader, but apparently our director Jeff Evers is, and he said Jeff doubling as a court stenographer in the offseason as well. He said I jammed it. It's going to stick around. So back to work on Castellanos. 1 out, 1 on here in the top of the third.
The Reds have 2 Knicks leading off 1 and 2, coming to this series 5-55 to close the year. So far in this game, 3 for 3.
Off the end of the bat, out to right for Markakis. And that's out number 2. It'll set up Joey Votto. Earlier we were talking about Joey's press conference when he talked about not only how anxious he was to get back into the postseason, but his team in general this year.
We're good and we're better. I like this team much more than I like those teams, and I really like those teams. But I think we're a nightmare, and I think everybody knows that. I can't wait.
You ever get the sense listening to him that he's messing with all of us?
Yes.
He's on a different level. Here's Joey with the runner aboard.
Matt, I remember I don't want to date myself too much, but about 10 years ago, I get a call, and someone says, Joey Votto wants to talk to you. And I thought it was a prank. And we got on the phone. It was in the off season, and we went on to spend about 2 hours on the phone. And it was one of the best conversations I've had about hitting, methodical questions that I've never been asked before. After the conversation, I was more confused than I was anything else. But he's such a thoughtful, smart hitter, person, and he goes about it the same way. He's from Canada, but he thinks about investing. He thinks about how he handles family, charities. This guy's the complete package. He's been just a phenomenal player for the Reds for a long, long time.
Signed that big 10-year extension prior to the 2012 season. Fastball puts Fried in front, 1-2. Well, Votto's season has been an interesting one. His batting average bottomed out at 191 on August 25th. David Bell gave him 3 days away, sat him down, missed 3 games. Votto returned to the lineup, went 11 for his next 30 with 3 homers, and has been same old Joey Votto ever since. The mental break really gave him some life as that one gets away from Darno and Senzel advances.
Hey, Matty, you mentioned those 3 days off by manager David Bell given to Votto. And, you know, around Cincinnati, just one he boxed right here, one he should have had. Around Cincinnati, the conversation was this the benching? Nobody wanted to mention the B word, benching. But what I liked about Votto, he made adjustments, a superstar for a long time to be able to make that adjustment. When he turned it around, I think the rest of the Reds said, okay, if Votto's back, let's go. This could be our year. So good mojo for the Reds.
Laid off the breaking ball, 3-2. And of course, a hallmark of Joey Votto's game the last number of years has been his ability to take the walk. For some, at the expense of utilizing the power he's capable of.
Made an adjustment with his stance mid-August, got a little bit more upright, a little less choking up. And like Pete Rose would probably tell you, hey, it doesn't have to be a perfect strike. With men in scoring position, men on third base, Mr. October used to tell me, we need you to swing the bat. We don't need you to walk here.
Suarez on deck next. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 out runner in scoring position for Joey Votto. Worth keeping our eyes on Senzel, who appeared to jam a shoulder getting back to the bag this inning. And Votto's caught looking. Fried ran that breaking ball inside and punched him out. His first strikeout of the day is a big one, still scoreless. You're watching the 2020 Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire. Back with Alex Rodriguez and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian. The Braves and the Reds scoreless bottom half of the third as Trevor Bauer goes back to work on Nick Markakis, Austin Riley, and then the top of the order, Ronald Acuna. Veteran left-handed hitting outfielder Nick Markakis. End of the season with a modest 4-game hitting streak, went 5 for 15 down the stretch. It was a season where Nick had originally chosen to opt out of 2020 due to COVID-19 concerns. Then opted back in. Then had to be put on the COVID IL for fear of exposure. So missed some time in 2 different chunks of the season. And it's 2-2 now from Bauer. Two from Bauer. That little slider misses inside, and it's 2-2 now. Nick Markakis in previous meetings, and there aren't many of them, but only Freddie Freeman has faced Bauer more than Markakis. 1 for 7, 3 strikeouts.
Fastball in here.
And Markakis fouls it away. For Nick Markakis, this is his 5th career postseason series. Played in a couple as an Oriole in the last 2 years with the Atlanta Braves. Just a 188 postseason hitter, which is surprising given the fact that Nick is such a good hitter. Caught looking that time. 3 straight strikeouts for Bauer. Major League Baseball would like to honor, remember, and thank the frontline heroes who continue to lift up their fellow citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. Limited family attendance. And team employees, we're told, allowed to watch the game today. Breaking ball starts, Austin Riley with a swing and a miss. The team employees do not have to disguise themselves in camouflage, as it appears the Braves mascot has chosen to do this afternoon. Why Blooper is dressed like Artie Johnson from Laugh-In, peering between trees is unknown to me. What's going on there?
It's got him on it. It's got to be hot in there.
Is this like a Bill Belichick thing? Is he actually filming stuff in there?
He's having some fun. He's got a great seat.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Riley. Full count now to back-to-back hitters. You're the guy that plays this game better than I, but I'm going to guess slider off the plate.
Fastball away.
Oh. Oof. Fastball in that dings up Kurt Casale.
And a good pitch to hit here. This fastball meant away. Came back right into the middle of the plate. Here's your breaking ball.
Got him on it. How'd you know that? No, seriously. Was that just a straight guess?
No. There's the breaking ball. There's the spin. Nice sequence for Bauer. He went slider, fastball, foul back, and then slider to put him away. Back-to-back, full count, strikeouts. One on the fastball to Markakis, and the slider there to Riley.
So after the fastball, you're just thinking he's set up for the breaking ball off the plate at that point?
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading what he's doing. And Riley took a really good swing at that 3-2 fastball. And I thought he would go back to his money pitch.
0-1 the count to Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna playing in his third career postseason series. Behind 0-2. How about this start to his career? 80 or more homers, 60 or more bags before turning 23. Very elite company with Mike Trout, Ken Griffey Jr., and Braves great Andruw Jones.
And I think one thing he did better than anybody on that list, this young Buster, is how disciplined he is and getting better.
Yeah, and it seems like this year is the year, in talking with Braves staffers, that he really began to learn the value of being disciplined at the plate. Every young player seems to have to learn that other than Juan Soto. Acuna's walk rate this year jumped from 10.6% to 18.8%. Huge, almost double.
Wow. Buster, that's a huge jump. And I tell you, it's a combination of fear and experience. Fear, meaning that pitchers know exactly who this young man is now, so they're fearful, so that's going to create more walks. Experience is you become more poised, more repetition. Javi Baez from the Cubs can use a page from Acuna's development.
Froze him on the fastball. How about 5 straight strikeouts for Trevor Bauer, dealing early on today in Atlanta. He played 3. No score between the Reds and the Braves.
Smoke.
Excitement in those first days of the playoffs. Best of 3 matches, teams be playing for their lives right off the bat.
Yes, there has never been a day like this. 8 postseason games. Reds and Braves are the first of the 8. Starting up shortly, the Twins and Astros rather, as Max Fried goes back to work here in the top of the 4th. The scoreless start to this one. Eugenio Suarez followed by Mike Moustakas and Aristides Aquino. Suarez lined to shortstop in his first try today.
Oh,
swing and a drive well hit to left. Not quite enough as Ozuna makes the catch. That's Duvall making the catch in left. So the AL wildcard series all continue today. The Rays, the Yankees, the Astros, the White Sox with a chance to close out their opponents and punch their tickets to the division series in the AL. Astros and Twins just getting started on ESPN2. There's Mike Moustakas now. When the Cincinnati Reds kind of overhauled in the offseason and spent some considerable free agent money, they signed Mike Moustakas and Nick Castellanos to identical 4-year, $64 million deals, as that one's bounced to Freeman. And the Reds president of baseball ops, Dick Williams, with an eye toward the future, told people at the time, we're kind of putting this team together thinking that the universal DH is coming. Because some of the questions were, well, where are you going to fit all these pieces? They bring in Shogo Akiyama from Japan, and there were a lot of outfielders. There didn't seem to be enough glove positions. Now, little did the Reds know that the COVID-19 pandemic would make the universal DH happen this year, but it appears it's here to stay. And the Reds are well positioned moving forward. Very quick inning for Max Fried. And MLB has you covered on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Moments ago, we visited with Reds manager David Bell. David, Trevor Bauer's been fun to watch so far this afternoon. You've seen this kind of thing before. Give us your thoughts on the start to his day.
Yeah, early on it looked like he didn't have his best velocity, actually, and kind of went to some of the secondary pitches a little bit earlier than we've seen at times. It looked like it picked back up there the last inning, so it'll be interesting to see how he works it the rest of the way. But looks like he has his velo. He's locating his fastball and has his slider and breaking ball working.
David, your offensive guys came out swinging aggressively, looking good. Some opportunities squandered. What are you seeing from your offense?
Yeah, you're right. We came out ready to attack the fastball, and to Fried's credit, he almost immediately went to his breaking ball and off-speed stuff. So we just have to continue to stay aggressive, but also make the adjustment and stay back on his off-speed pitches. He did a good job of getting out of that inning, and good base running by Senzel to give us another opportunity, and we weren't able to get it done there in the first.
David, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you guys.
Meanwhile, Trevor Bauer back to work, having struck out the last 5 batters that have come to face him. Strike to Freeman makes it 10 of 16 first pitch strikes. And he's quickly in front of Freddie 0-2.
And Bauer, teammates with Garrett Cole at UCLA, they didn't particularly like each other. I guess they still don't. And long ways to go to the great start Garrett Cole had yesterday, 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. But Bauer's on his way. He looks phenomenal so far.
Yeah, that distaste is rather well documented, I think, to be diplomatic about it. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Freddie Freeman. Freddie lined to right in his first try in this one. Trevor Bauer's personal best for consecutive strikeouts is 6. He's a strike away from matching that. Freddie Freeman is one of the harder hitters in all of baseball to strike out. The major league record for consecutive strikeouts in a game is held by the late Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, 10. We're efforting what the postseason record is. I mean, 10 straight strikeouts is ridiculous. Jake Peavy, then of the Padres, came very close to that in 2007 when he struck out 9 straight and had Arizona's Eric Burns in a 3-2 count, ready to tie the mark. Burns drew a walk.
Oh, that hit him.
And there goes the consecutive strikeout stretch. Leadoff hitters aboard.
Here's the location on all 5 strikeouts from Bauer, attacking the zone all over it, in, out, up, not so much down. Matty, that was just an 82-mile-an-hour slider, just got away from him a little bit and hit Freeman on his back knee.
Just the second Atlanta base runner of the game, and that'll bring up Marcell Ozuna. 0-1.
Scouting reports are no secrets. He's been attacking Ozuna with breaking balls with good reason. Major League's best, 492 on fastballs. He'll show him a fastball, but he won't pitch fastballs, meaning fastballs for show, breaking balls for outs.
0-2. So given that, would you be surprised if he sees a fastball the rest of this at bat?
He'll see one up out of the zone, and if he takes it, Then he'll put him away with the breaking ball.
I mean, you got a couple of Braves hitters back-to-back in this lineup that wear out velocity. Freddie Freeman, who we just saw, and then Marcell Ozuna right behind him.
And I'll tell you about a mistake that pitchers do often, and we saw it in last night's game. Wait for this pitch here. That's 4 breaking balls in a row to Ozuna. You can make a bad breaking ball hitter good if you keep showing it to him. Yesterday, Gleyber Torres had 4 hits. His best at bat, a walk on 6 consecutive breaking balls. Gardner hit a first pitch fastball. So my point is, you still have to pitch hard and soft. That's 5 in a row. And every time, Ozuna is getting better and better, more hitterish. Now you don't want to back yourself into a corner where you have to throw a fastball. And here's a breaking ball. Bad breaking ball with a great stop.
And Kurt Casale going back to his New Canaan High School basketball days. Shuffling across the floor.
And this should be a fastball here.
Oh, and he got a call on it to strike out Ozuna.
And that pitch was away, Matty, but what I liked about it, it was set up by 5 slow breaking balls, bounced the previous pitch. That fastball's 94. It plays like 98. And Ozuna did not even see that pitch. Even though it was away, that 17-inch plate just became 19 inches, maybe 20.
Just off the plate, according to K-Zone 3D.
Great cat and mouse. That's the chess match.
6 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. He starts Darno with a breaking ball that's popped in the infield. Moustakas has it, and that's 2 away.
Matty, we were talking about Bauer and UCLA, and he's been different for a long time. And when he went there on his recruiting trip, his favorite basketball college team was Duke, so he was wearing a Duke hat. And basketball coach Ben Holland put out his hand and took it back. And he said, young man, you got to take that hat off. And Mr. Bauer, young Bauer said, no, I don't. He kept the hat on, and that's how he started his Bruins career.
I'd never heard that story, but it falls right in line with what we know about Trevor Bauer. Here's Ozzie Albies now. Well, some of his training routine and some of his pregame ritual, it was so bizarre to the eye test when he was coming up with the Diamondbacks after being a top draft choice out of UCLA. The long toss he would throw, he had these kind of unusual gizmos that he'd get himself loose with. He'd put on the headphones. He's a big heavy metal guy. Put on the speed metal, get himself ready in a very unusual manner. And look, baseball is such that, you know, if you're a little different, people are scared of you. Like right now, we're used to seeing this. This is no big deal. But when he first arrived on the scene, people were like, what's the deal with the hockey stick, brah?
I like it. I like it. And I'll tell you what, if he helps you win, those 24 guys, they love you. And they want you out there 35 times a year.
And there's room for guys like that, man. Everybody doesn't have to fill the same box in baseball. And baseball is such a clubhouse, pure pressure culture. Again, if you're different, people look at you with a fisheye. And there are a lot of us that wish that that wasn't the case.
Right. One of his quotes.
Matt, I talked to guys who played with him in the past, and some weren't really fond of him at that time. But every person I've ever talked to about Trevor says he burns to be great, and he is a hard worker, and that was a bottom line for a lot of his teammates.
One of his great quotes: "I do 2 things really well. I know how to throw a fastball really well, and I know how to get people really mad at me really well."
Albies bounces it to second base. Moustakas had a hard time with that. That's actually Farmer in the shift. Runners aboard with 2 gone, and let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Yeah, and Matt, you've talked about it. It is a day unlike any other in Major League history. 8 wild card playoff games, 7 of them on the ESPN ABC family of networks. You can watch multi-game coverage via ESPN Squeeze Play, available right now on ESPN Plus. Yankees, Indians, Brewers, Dodgers tonight on ESPN, part of a tremendous evening slate. Baseball nirvana, Matt, all day and night.
Couldn't agree more, Kevin. In fact, the only bad thing about this day for us is that we can't consume all 8 games at one time, though we are doing our best. Swing and a miss by Adam Duvall.
And this hit here by Albies, for me, is out of position. Farmer's way too deep. Right positioning, wrong depth. That should be a routine ground ball. And with a guy like Ozzie that runs so well, you should not be back there in the grass. You should have both feet on the dirt. Mental mistake, not a physical mistake for the staff.
Oh, and 2 the count to Adam Duvall. You know, we talk about the shift a lot, you and I, on Sunday nights. And for a guy like Kyle Farmer, who made only 10 starts at shortstop during the regular season, you're asking him to play shifts because it's so commonplace now, where the angles are all different. The angles on what you're receiving, the angles on what you're throwing. It's not as easy as the common fan might think, just to slide onto the other side of the bag.
The coach's job is to put your players in a position to win-win. Not even a Gold Glover can get Ozzie back there. That means it's the wrong position to be in.
And a called strike 3 taken by Duvall. Bauer strands a pair. 7 strikeouts through 4 in a scoreless game. Four innings of baseball in this first in a best-of-3 between the Reds and Braves in the wild card round. Braves manager Brian Snitker kind enough to join us in the top of the 5th. Brian, I'd imagine you haven't managed too many games in your home ballpark that have started at noon Eastern. It looks like shadows play a little bit differently. What else about the start to this one is different for you?
Well, the thing that we've overcome are these cutouts. I mean, we've taken them down, we've bent them forward, because early in the year, in some of the 130 games, they were giving the guys problems. But I think we've, taken care of that. And we had a workout yesterday at noon just to kind of get the guys' body clocks and everything kind of synced a little bit for this. But yeah, it's a little different.
Snit, you've been with the Braves for 44 years. You've had a tremendous career there, and you pretty much have seen it all until 2020. How have you been able to adjust, not only in game, but in society there in Atlanta? It looks like you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, we are, Alex. I mean, it's been tough. It's been tough on everybody. It's tough on everybody in the country. I mean, just not us. And we're such a routine-driven entity, I think, in this game that I think a lot of guys, you had to make some adjustments, and it was different. And hotels and eating and everything like that. So I think overall, everybody in baseball has done a great job of making the adjustments.
Brian, you've always been very generous with your time with us. We certainly appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Jesse Winker sends a fly ball out to right that's handled for the first out for Max Fried, who, though he hasn't posted the kind of strikeout totals Trevor Bauer has today, has been just as impressive, scattering 3 singles today through his now 4 1/3.
Matty, I think the Braves and Alex Anthopoulos, they've done a phenomenal job with this coaching staff. I don't think they get enough credit. One of the best in baseball, an old school baseball staff. When you think about, Brian Snitker's been there for 44 years. And then the old school guys, you go to Walt Weiss, Ron Washington, Sal Fasano, Rick Kranitz. I mean, it's really good to see. And with these young players, I think is a huge, huge competitive advantage for them.
It's Kyle Farmer now. He takes a curveball for a strike. Yeah, you hit on a name there, I think, that doesn't get perhaps as much credit as he deserves, and that's Walt Weiss, the bench coach for Brian Snitker. Walt, of course, with managerial experience in Denver, plenty of playing experience, a former Rookie of the Year and world champ in Oakland. And people inside the Braves know that Walt Weiss has the kind of role with that staff that's invaluable. He is an equal parts strategist and enforcer. He's a guy that's very much responsible for the good clubhouse culture in Atlanta, along with the players, Freeman, Swanson, etc.
It's such a nice mix, and he went there on the strikeout. Such a nice mix, and Walt Weiss is such a big part of it. He's one of my favorite guys in baseball, going back to the 80s, back with the Oakland A's, where he played solid shortstop. One of the most revered guys in the game. I cannot believe he's not a manager. Phenomenal baseball guy. And you have him, you have Ron Washington, you have Sal Fasano, but he's one of the main cogs in that team that bridges a little bit of old school, new school.
2 gone now for Kurt Casale. I think a lot of guys that didn't play at a time when analytics are as prevalent as they are now, they're not credited for being versed in it. And Walt is very versed in it.
Yep.
I remember talking to him about Larry Walker's Hall of Fame candidacy before Larry Walker was voted in at Cooperstown. And he went through a list of advanced analytic categories that his former teammate and friend excelled in, and had everybody in the room walking away saying, wow, Larry Walker should be a Hall of Famer.
I like it. He was thinking about analytics before it was cool to talk about it.
0-2 the count to Kurt Casale.
And for young players like Ozzie and Acuna and Freeman coming up, more veteran player, but to be around these guys, this is rare. This looks like a staff from the mid-90s or 80s. And that's a good thing, because they do have big data, but they also have this old school. What I like about Ron Washington, that's been in the game over 40 years, he still studies a lot like he's a young man.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Max Fried, who's retired 8 in a row through 5. Hey, there's more baseball to come. Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs at home in their first in a best-of-3 with the Marlins on ABC. Well, the Braves' postseason drought is something that's gotten to be significant. They won the NL East the last 3 seasons and lost in the division series in the last 2. Their last postseason win was back in the 2001 NLDS. That means the Braves are trying to win a postseason series for the first time in 19 years. 8 division series losses and a wild card loss between now and their last victory. What did the lineup look like from their last NLDS, their last postseason victory? B.J. Surhoff played left.
Wow.
John Burkett was the starter. Ray Sanchez at shortstop.
And, of course, the Joneses, staples in that lineup for such a long time. Nice play there.
Routine ground ball takes care of Dansby Swanson for the first out in the last of the 5th.
And Ronald Acuna Jr. was 3 years old.
Matty, their struggles, they've lost 9 consecutive Game 1 games in the postseason, and Bauer's making it tough to snap that today.
Astros and Twins are scoreless underway in their Game 2. That's in the top of the 2nd. Minnesota had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 1st and failed to score. The same way they threatened against Greinke yesterday early and failed to score. Again, the Twins have lost 17 consecutive postseason games. So what the Braves have endured, it's nothing compared to what the Twins have gone through in recent postseasons.
That's right. And you look at a game like this, Matty's, now it's bottom of the 5th inning. No runs on the board. You're thinking that one mistake, mental or physical, can be the difference. So if you're in that dugout, you're talking to each other. Let's go, everybody. Focus. One pitch at a time. Think small, not big, because if you think big with these pitchers, you're going to have small results.
Oh, and 2 the count to Nick Markakis.
There's a breaking ball.
And Markakis can't hold off on the breaking ball in the dirt. 8 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer today.
Matty, I told you breaking ball was coming. I didn't think it was going to be this filthy. I mean, this is 58-footer for a disciplined hitter like Markakis. Obviously looking fastball in, opened up quickly, and the breaking ball just fell off the table. Clinic from the former Bruin.
The 8 strikeouts for Bauer ties his postseason career high. He's punched out Riley once today.
Look at the depth here. I mean, that is just wicked.
Ball's not usually swung on. 1-1. By the way, the Reds franchise postseason strikeout record is 10, set by Homer Bailey, Game 3 of the 2012 Division Series against the Giants. And Bauer is zeroing in on that with 8. Sharply hit to third. Suarez has it, and it's a quick 1-2-3 last of the 5th. Starters owning the day. Scoreless in Atlanta. A number of notable droughts snapped for the Marlins. 16 years between postseason appearances. They're in against the Cubs and starting shortly. The Padres are back in. They get the Cardinals today. That's been their postseason nemesis for years. The White Sox 11 years, and these Reds a 6-year stretch between postseason appearances. And the National League side of the bracket, once again, the next up 2 Eastern is the start time over on ABC for Kyle Hendricks and the Cubs, playing host to the Marlins, Cardinals, and Padres at 5 Eastern on ESPN2. Brewers and Dodgers wrap up your night. The Brewers finally announcing a starter. Contending Walker Buehler, it'll be Brent Suter for Milwaukee, with plenty of bullpen usage, I'm quite sure, from the Brewers. Brewers edging their way in on the last day of the season. I'm not going to say backing their way in, because that implies they don't deserve it. Anybody that's there deserves it. And it's 0-2 quickly to Nick Senzel.
The day was off to a fast start. 2 for 2 since 2 for 33.
Senzel has 2 of the 3 Cincinnati hits in this game. Max Fried has been super efficient. He threw 50 pitches through 5 innings. And, you know, Brian Snitker telling us before the game, they're going to watch him. They're not expecting him to go into the 8th or 9th today, given the fact that he'd thrown only 6 innings in the last 3+ weeks. But he's been fantastic this afternoon.
Matty, I'm going to give you a comp to Mr. Fried.
Okay.
And here's another comp right here.
Yeah,
my comp is Barry Zito, minus the power change of the 0-3. But when you look at his fastball, his cutter, he's 6'4", but that overhand curveball, not quite as large as Zito's, but it was a lot of resemblance.
I like it. I like the comp. I'm not sure if Max Fried plays the guitar and sings, but I like the pitching comp for sure. You know, Fried at such a young age, he's 26 in his 4th season, really his 3rd full season. He's entrusted to be the 1A. He's the top of the rotation, and he strikes out Senzel, his 4th of the game.
Get your ice cold Bud Light. Bud Light. South to here. I walk these streets. I don't see houses. I see seat numbers. G9, G21. I mean, this whole street is row G. Nice shutters, ma'am. But I don't need to burden you with my process. Bud Light here.
1 gone for Nick Castellanos. Is it me, or is that curveball becoming a bigger weapon for him 2nd and 3rd time through the lineup today?
It's getting better and better, Matt. And what I like is early on, both Knicks starting the game back-to-back hits early, attacking early. Well, he's gone to pitching early, not just getting ahead.
Ball and a strike to Castellanos.
There's a change.
I think we got to give I think we got to give the requisite. Sorry, Alex. I was going to say, I think, Matt, we got to give the requisite. You're not going to believe who his high school teammates are or were, especially after yesterday.
That still plays. You're right, especially after yesterday, and especially with what's coming down the road in this postseason with Jack Flaherty getting Game 3 for the Cardinals in San Diego. Lucas Giolito, who was dominant yesterday, to Buster's point. Max Fried, Jack Flaherty, all teammates at Harvard Westlake High School, class of 2012.
You know, Matty, I had an opportunity to train with all three of these guys down in Southern California. And you're talking about great pedigree, DNA, winning mentality. By the way, Westlake, Harvard, that's like the Ivy League of high schools down in LA. So they wouldn't let me into that campus. But Flaherty's mom is a longtime 25-year veteran executive at NBC. And all of them, great pitchers, better people.
And a trio of friends that still keep in touch. Jam shot bounced out to the right side. Castellanos on the run. Glove flips not in time. A hustle infield single for Nick Castellanos.
And a phenomenal play here by Ozzie. I cannot believe he made it this close. Going with the Roberto Alomar hand. Look at the break off. Look how quick he gets off. And then it's all speed. And then as good as you can make it, but just not quite on time. Nice play.
One out, one on for Joey Votto, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout today.
For 2 both time. Big at bats with men in scoring position. We may go back to that first inning at bat as the one that got away for Votto and the Reds.
Yeah, first inning singles by Senzel and Castellanos. Votto grounded softly to first base, struck out again in the third. He hits the hole on the left side. Castellanos is going to wrap around and try for third. Throw there is in time to get him. A gutsy decision to try to get to third on a base hit to left.
And a little hesitation here, but even with the hesitation, nice recovery and a strike to third base. Good effort. I like it. 1 out. You want to push the envelope a little bit. And it took a perfect throw and a better tag to get him out. And indeed, great call by the Cowboy, Joe West.
Yeah, not as close as it appeared in real time, because that tag was down on the leg of Castellanos well in advance of his getting to the bag. And there's a first pitch curveball strike to Eugenio Suarez. Man, that's dicey though, man. You got a base hit to left. The Reds have had a hard time manufacturing runs this year, and you're trying to take that extra bag.
Castellanos quick enough to beat out the infield hit, not quick enough to go first to third there.
It's a team that hit a major league low 212 during the regular season. So you understand the anxiousness to try to advance on base. I mean, without that, you need 3 hits in an inning to score, so they rolled the dice there. Only 27% of Cincinnati's base runners scored this year. That was the lowest figure in all the land.
And give David Bell credit. The manager of the Reds has said all along, has not grown frustrated, has said, I believe, I believe, I believe.
It was homer or bust for the Reds this year. 0-2 to Suarez. Throws him on the breaking ball. 5 strikeouts for Fried. Nothing despite back-to-back 1-out singles. Still scoreless in Atlanta. 2020 Wildcard Series presented by Han Cook Tire. Just a day at the beach for the National League Cy Young favorite. Barefoot pregame with the spikes on. He's been filthy. Yeah, strut. We bad.
I mean, he grew up watching the Braves, the big three, Smoltz, Glavine, and that's how he learned how to pitch. And the irony of him facing the Braves today is pretty cool.
Still scoreless, last of the sixth, top of the order for Atlanta. Both starters have been efficient in this game, each under 70 pitches. Acuna's 0 for 2 so far today.
Oh.
That one's sent into center field and well hit. It's going to chase Senzel. Atlanta has its first extra base hit of the game.
The Reds made a mistake on the base path, opening up the window here. Fastball away and a great swing, foot down behind the baseball. Tremendous torque. Leadoff double with the possible MVP here at the plate. And it's getting to that part of the game, Matty, where you need to start having some very smart at-bats. And for Freeman, the goal is simple here. Obviously, you want to drive him in, but at the minimum, you want to get Acuna over to third base with less than 2 outs.
Freeman is lined out and been hit by a pitch today. Freddie Freeman is finished in the top 4 in all of baseball in runs, hits, doubles, RBIs, and walks. One. Talk about RBIs, and for Freddie Freeman, since the RBI became an official stat in 1920, the only other player to finish in the top 4 in the majors in each of the categories we just listed was Lou Gehrig in 1927.
Wow.
So when you talk about his MVP resume, and it seems like it's Freeman and Fernando Tatis that have all the traction. If you just lined up those 2 players, Tatis might be a little sexier because of the style points, but statistically, Freddie was better in almost every category except for homers.
And Gold Glove caliber at first base.
Well, not to mention the leadership quotient. Started his season slowly because of his recovery from COVID-19. So here's the lineup we talk about. If you just flip over the backs of the baseball cards this year, advantage Freeman everywhere except for homers.
Yeah, and Tatis got off to a great start. Machado came off very strong late, so they may split some votes. Freeman has been the total package this year.
Mookie Betts will probably get some consideration in LA. Breaking ball bounced to the right side. It does advance the runner, to your point, and now the Braves can score a run with a fly ball.
Now, this is what makes Freeman as an MVP. You talked about all the macro, Matty. This is the micro, and this is what Votto couldn't do in his first 2 at-bats. He hits a bullet. He waits for a breaking ball, shaking hands in the dugout. Much appreciation. It goes 0 for 1, but if this is an RBI, assist goes to Freeman, and that's winning baseball. You mentioned RBIs, and you think about the Braves, and you can't help but think about the great Hank Aaron. In today's game, a lot of front offices are discrediting RBIs. They're not even targeting it. For me, RBI is still the single most important stat in baseball, followed by runs scored. Because how do you win? You need to score, and you need to drive in runs.
Marcell Ozuna drove in a National League high 56 this year, including 33 in September.
First pitch swinging.
Bauer was aware of that too, and that's why I fed him that breaking ball a foot off the plate.
And remember the chess match here, Matty. Let me bring you back to the last at bat. 5 breaking balls, fastball away, 3 inches away, strike 3. So he's coming on aggressive mentally from the get-go. Infield in.
Went out there again, and Ozuna popped it up. Casali hoping for a play, and he's got it. That's a huge second out.
Wow.
So now it'll take a Braves base hit, some kind of a Cincinnati miscue perhaps to get that run in with 2 away, and it's Travis d'Arnaud. d'Arnaud yet to strike a ball out of the infield against Bauer today. Grounded to second, popped up in the infield back in the 4th. Oh, good block by Casali with a runner at third.
Alex, what's your choice here with first base open? You look at the lineup and who you attack, who you don't attack.
Yeah, this is a simple one here, Buster. You go at him. If you fall behind, you have the option to put him on or not. Pitcher's choice.
Wow, it's a good looking breaking ball. They don't get a call on it. It's 2-0 now.
And this could have been a strike. This ball was not caught properly. I believe it's a strike. He just boxed it. See that?
Yeah, he's mad at himself too.
Yeah. And so is Bauer.
2 balls and no strikes. d'Arnaud was in take mode there. 2-1. Leadoff double by Acuna. Freeman advanced the runner with a ground ball. Ozuna fouled out. And now 2 balls and a strike to d'Arnaud.
Here's a fastball, Matty.
Right down Main Street, 2-2. There's a method to what Trevor Bauer's doing today. He started out the game with a lot of cutters, then went to the curveball second time through the lineup. I mean, he's got everything in d'Arnaud's mind here on 2-2.
Yeah. There's your breaking ball, Matty.
d'Arnaud was on it, fouled away. And that's why, it's among the reasons why Trevor Bauer is so fun to watch. It's not just the theatrics. When you can kind of follow along what he's doing, and I say kind of because he's smarter than most of us.
Yep.
It becomes pretty fun to watch.
Absolutely. And because of all the noise around him, this part of his game doesn't get enough credit. Acuna should be heads up for a ball in the dirt here, but this is a fastball, so it should be okay.
Got him swinging. Trevor Bauer strands a leadoff double to keep it scoreless in Atlanta. You're watching the 2020 Wild Card Series presented by Hankook Tire. The American League side of the wild card bracket kicks off today. Astros and Twins are scoreless. They're underway on ESPN2. Next up in the AL, White Sox and A's. Dallas Keuchel looking to close things out for Chicago. We've got the Yankees and Indians at 7 Eastern tonight. So Alex, Buster, and I will get a nap, a massage, a healthy meal, CrossFit workout.
Change of mind workout.
Wait, who'd you guys talk to get all that?
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's pure fiction. Mike Moustakas leading things off in the Cincinnati half of the 7th.
It's all fake. It's all for social media anyways.
Bouncer to the right side. Freed covering his position nicely. He's been great today.
Matty, I'm sorry. How good is Freed? I'm so excited I can't even get it out. Too much coffee. But this is what you call a big-time breaking ball. A bucket of them. A couple large ones. This one a little tighter. And then back to the Kershaw. The Barry Zito type breaking ball. I mean, this is filthy. The young man from Westlake, Harvard in LA.
One gone for Aristides Aquino. I don't know that we saw Max Fried going into the 7th inning today based on the relatively light workload that he had over the past 3 weeks, but he's been so efficient in this game. He really has not been out there to endure anything close to a long inning. He has not faced more than 4 batters in any of the 6 innings that he's completed today, and there's nobody up behind him. And it's not because the Braves struggle in the bullpen. Their bullpen has been great this year.
Yeah, 72 pitches, maybe 7 or 10 leverage pitches. Oh my.
Aristides Aquino with the roller skates on today. Somewhere in the world, Adrian Beltre is smiling at this.
I mean, that curveball will make anybody skate.
Aquino sends a fly ball out to shallow left. That's going to drop in.
Hugo of Hair by Hugo believes every customer deserves the personal touch. I'm the Hartford Buck, and I believe Hugo's business does too.
With insurance designed for your small business, the Buck's got your back.
Well, I'm going to put Aristides Aquino among the top watches to swing the bat just because he's so unorthodox. You know, David Bell talked about his long levers and how they try to get him a little bit more compact. He was hardly compact there, but he's on base.
Exciting to watch, and if you're the Braves, this is the time to start getting the bullpen warmed up. Get them ready.
Here's Jesse Winker now, and he's hit by a pitch.
It is a fastball here. The first one's gotten away from Fried. Obviously non-intentional. Last thing he wants to do is put another guy on. But maybe a sign of weakening and esopha fatigueness. So if you're the Braves, you should have a right-hander and a left-hander up. The Reds, who have squandered a couple of opportunities, this is a time. David Bell has options here. You can bunt Farmer. You can go to your bench to pinch hit. So the game could be won or lost right here.
We've got Darren O'Day up in the bullpen as Rick Kranitz goes out to chat with Fried. Quick opportunity to remind you the MLB app is the one place to get everything for your favorite team's chase to the pennant, including video highlights, pitch tracking, and much more. Download the MLB app today for the postseason in your pocket. Well, Cincinnati had a similar opportunity last inning, first and second with one away. Same scenario here for Kyle Farmer.
And the inside move there is just for one reason, to see if they show bunt. And Farmer did not show bunt. And the bunt, if it's in order, should go right to the third baseman, Riley, make him field it.
Curveball still sharp. 0-1.
0 bunts this year, so we should know that it's probably not going to start now.
Yeah. 30-year-old veteran infielder with a chance to drive in the game's first run. Farmer bounces it to third. Riley to Albies back to first, and not in time for the double play.
I'm sure they're going to check that. Great play there. Nice toss. Bang, bang.
Have they challenged? I'm not sure if they've even challenged it yet. It's a rule modification where managers are only supposed to get 20 seconds to decide if they're going to challenge or not. It appears that the right call was made and that Farmer was safe.
Boy, really get down the line really well. And that ball was struck so hard.
Yeah, he's safe.
Beat it, yeah. 9 out of 10 guys will get doubled there, so credit for Farmer for busting it down the line.
So Curt Casale, the scheduled batter. I don't know if this is a meeting. That's Swanson chatting with Fried. So no coaches come out here. This does not constitute or necessitate a change. That was initiated by Dansby Swanson. We're going to have a pinch hitter. Matt Davidson will swing the bat off the bench in place of Casale. Matt was not on the season-ending roster, but was added for this wild card series along with former Padre outfielder Travis Jankowski. First pitch misses high, and now they've got in a rundown Kyle Farmer. Runner from third breaks for the plate. All the Braves need to do is tag him and execute it. And the tag is applied right before Aquino can cross the plate. Austin Riley sold out and dove. What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Another opportunity vanishes for Cincinnati, and it's still scoreless. Scoreless, and it remains that way in a rather unusual manner. Top of the 7th inning, and the Reds had an opportunity, first and second, 1 away. Then you had a fielder's choice play, first and third, 2 gone, and then this, Alex.
A few things here to unpack. First of all, you see the bad jump at first base, and then I want you to focus Aquino on third base. His first move is back, so roll it here. That back move right there, that's a killer. And he's still going back.
Head down.
Head down and still hovering over the bag. I mean, this is just bad all the way around, guys.
So was he trying to deke? Was he trying to disguise his intention, or was he just, did he just decide to take off when it looked like Farmer got hung up?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was so bad, you can't even tell what he was trying to do, to be honest with you. You know, the other part is if you try this, you try it with 2 strikes, so you pinch hit, you don't even get a shot to get a couple whacks up there.
So the Geico game track still reads 0-0. The Reds have had more opportunities to scratch across a run than Atlanta. Trevor Bauer's been fantastic. 9 strikeouts in 6 shutout innings. Max Fried has matched him, allowing the 6 hits. He's pitched out of 2 jams in the 6th and 7th inning.
And the Reds offense putting Bauer in a tough spot with a handful of mistakes. Some on base running, others not getting runs in from third base.
Tucker Barnhart takes over behind the plate as Curt Casale was pinch hit for. And to Alex's point, Matt Davidson never had a chance to swing the bat. They burned him with the shenanigans on base. And now it's Ozzie Albies.
One thing about that play, guys, and talking with staffers around baseball, they really feel like in the rush to get through the summer camp and scramble and start the regular season, a lot of the stuff they would normally be able to work on in a regular spring training, they had to pass it by because they just didn't have a lot of time, and you wonder if that's on the list.
It was definitely miscommunication, and both base runners were not on the same page. You're getting in a rundown for a reason, but Aquino at third base is not anticipated. He's going back to the bag. So I'm sure that David Bell and his staff would communicate after the game and make sure they get that part right, because it's too big of a mistake, too big of a time for the Reds.
0-2 pitch is sent out to shallow right. Farmer's got it. There's one away. There are going to be a couple of opportunities that David Bell will go back and revisit in this one should the Reds fail to win, that he'll look back at with some regret. One gone for the home run threat now. Adam Duvall, who struck out twice against Bauer today.
One of the challenges of being a team that is all or nothing is when it comes down to the micro and you have to play small ball, it can get clunky for you. And so far for the Reds, it has.
Boy, it's just different, isn't it? I mean, no fans. You've got the early start, but the game plays differently when you get to the postseason. There's just no two ways about it. I hear you talking about it all the time, preaching small ball, the ability to bunt, the ability to manufacture, some of the nuances that are gone in today's game. And it's hard for a team that didn't do that all year to just flip the switch.
I mean, Matty,
Chris Martin up in the bullpen, by the way.
In simple terms, on a regular year, this year I know we have expanded rosters, you have 11 pitchers. If you're a hitter that does most of your damage against 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, well, you're not going to do well in postseason. Postseason, you face 1, 2, 3, and your 8th and 9th inning guy. And if you're a guy that strikes out 200 during the regular season, if you prorate that and you forecast, that plays more like 300 in the postseason.
Duvall can hang on. Ten strikeouts for Trevor Bauer this afternoon as we check in with Kevin Connors.
Yeah, and Matt, time for today's wild card roundup, brought to you by Coors Light. Elimination game for the Twins over on ESPN2, and the Astros have broken the ice. Back-to-back two-out walks led to this. Kyle Tucker RBI single, first career playoff RBI. Jose Urquidy's been great early, 1-0 Stros.
I mean, you talk about the improbable. My goodness, the Astros with a lead, a win away from moving on to the division series. 2 gone here with the bases empty now for Dansby Swanson. I remember talking to Brent Strom about 3-ish weeks ago, the outstanding pitching coach of the Astros, and he indicated at the time that their whole plan in Houston was to get there and use their starting staff exclusively if they could. That's what they did yesterday. They back-to-back starters. Urquidy today. They're going to try to minimize what was a shaky bullpen by using their starters in relief in this short series. I mean, it's worked for them in the past. That's how they won a World Series in 2017.
Yeah, Alex Cora also pioneered that kind of way of thinking in the World Series following Houston, where he ended up using his starters to set up game and close games. Houston Red Sox both did that very well.
Ball and 2 strikes to Dansby Swanson. Full house out there. Hello, Atlanta. 1-2 the count to Swanson. So as we've seen, the Astros and Twins are underway. Marlins and Cubs have started over on ABC. Next up, the White Sox and A's. Toronto, Tampa Bay. Cardinals and Padres. Alex, Buster, and I will be back with you at 7 Eastern for the Yankees and Indians. Game 2 of that series from Cleveland. And then the Brewers and Dodgers wrap up the night.
What a day. This is the best day I've had in at least 6 months. I wish we had 3 games.
11 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. Reds, and they have had a few go away.
Yeah, after back-to-back singles here, Votto squanders a big opportunity in the first. And then Castellanos on the base hit by Votto gets a little careless, maybe a little greedy, trying to go first to third. For the Braves, 0-2 curveball here stays in play. Big opportunity for the Braves. And then last inning, a trick play gone bad, really bad, confusing.
Yeah, as you mentioned, so bad that we couldn't even really diagnose the actual intent of what they were trying to do there. So Max Fried is done after a really strong 7 shutout innings this afternoon. Struck out 5, got out of 2 jams in the 6th and 7th that we just documented. He'll turn it over to the right-hander Chris Martin, who the Braves are happy to have back. There was some thought as to his availability after he was removed from Sunday's season finale with right groin discomfort. Chris missed some time during the regular season. He's a big part of a very good bullpen. The 6'8" right-hander takes over here in the 8th.
Yeah, with a fastball, slider, split, and a cutter. Matty, you mentioned 6'8". When you're a hitter facing a guy that tall, whether it's Randy Johnson or Martin, the fastball plays up.
Tucker Barnhart, Nick Senzel, Nick Castellanos here in the 8th. Barnhart came on to catch for Kurt Casale after Casale was pinch hit for by Matt Davidson, and Matt never had a chance to swing the bat because of the miscue on base that occurred in the 7th. It's amazing to me, Alex, how a team's Achilles heel, a wart, will be exposed in the postseason. And for the Reds, it's been their inability to manufacture runs. They live and die by the homer, and that's cost them today. Back-to-back innings with runners at first and second, 1 gone, and they failed to score. Full count now.
A lot has changed in the game, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, Matty, when you think about all the analytics and all of that. The one thing that's evergreen that will never change, pitching, defense, and timely hitting will always win championships.
Full count pitch to Barnhart. It's just starting to smell like one of those days where one guy's going to run into one, and that's going to be all she wrote.
As the game gets later and later, the nerves also continue to get higher and higher. So you're more open to making a mistake. And I believe a game like this will be decided by some of the mistakes we've made or a future mistake that will happen in the next 2 innings.
Here's the next payoff pitch. Barnhart sends a fly ball out to left center field. 1 away.
Give us the fall frenzy. It's a postseason we've never seen before.
Anything can happen.
Give us the Wild Card Series. Continues tonight on ESPN.
So one gone for the top of the order, Nick Senzel. He's responsible for 2 of Cincinnati's 6 hits in this game. 6 singles for the Reds on this day. And a curveball makes him send a fly ball out to right. Two out for Castellanos now. It would appear that Trevor Bauer is going to go back out there for the bottom half of the 8th because there's nobody up in the Cincinnati bullpen. It's getting near that time, however, where you start guessing as to when the end will come because Bauer's creeping up on a season-high pitch count. And I get it. It's the postseason. You take some of those restrictions off on a day like today. Oh, and 1 to Castellanos. And there's nobody home down there for the Reds, though. That's I think that's Amir Garrett kind of getting himself hot.
And if you're thinking along with David Bell, he has to be thinking Bauer closer. Nobody else in between.
Ball and a strike.
For the Reds, the 2 Knicks at the top of the order, 4 hits. The rest of the lineup, 2 hits.
Castellanos sends a ground ball to third, smothered by Riley. He gets his man, and the Reds go away in order in the 8th. Pitching and defense day for the Braves. Scoreless headed to the bottom of the 8th. Never halfway. Images from the last Braves World Series championship, 1995. Defeated the Cleveland Indians in 6 games. Strike-shortened year. Braves beat the Reds in the NLCS that year to get to the Fall Classic. Looking to add a new one. Of course, that incredible run they had of consecutive division titles. They've won 3 in a row currently, but they've got a long way to go to match their own franchise and major league record of 14 straight division titles, a run that began in '91. Trevor Bauer back to work. He has handled Nick Markakis all day with a couple of strikeouts, and the Reds bullpen is finally up with Raisel Iglesias. First bit of work that they've done all afternoon. Markakis, Riley, and Acuna, and if it goes any further than that, Freddie Freeman would bat this inning, and that kind of provides an interesting mile marker, Buster, on Trevor Bauer's day.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Freddie Freeman's going to be the MVP in all likelihood in the National League. But if you look at his numbers this year, he essentially has been Superman against right-handed pitchers, an OPS of 1228, and Clark Kent against lefties, 726. So when Freeman comes up, if you're David Bell and you see Trevor Bauer starting to get near a season high of 112 pitches, do you bring in the lefty? Or do you just continue to ride Trevor Bauer, who's been so dominant during the course of this day?
And Buster, to me, David Bell, I'm thinking like he's thinking right now, the bullpen is up for Osuna, and he'll let Bauer handle Freeman, who handles lefties just as well as righties.
Oh, and 1 the count to Austin Riley, who's 0 for 2 in this one. You saw the 11 strikeouts for Bauer. It's a new Reds postseason record, besting Homer Bailey's old mark of 10. Scoreless in the last of the 8th. That snappy breaking ball is still as sharp as ever. 1-2.
And for Bauer this year, every start over 100 pitches with the exception of one. So he's fine.
I mean, his strikes to balls today, the depth of his breaking ball, the way he's changed his repertoire based on times through the lineup. This has just been a masterful performance by Bauer. Ball and 2 strikes to Austin Riley. He's able to hold up. The last postseason game to go scoreless through the first 8 innings was the 2016 National League wildcard game when Madison Bumgarner shut out the Mets. Jeurys Familia allowed a 9th inning run, and that was the difference. And that's 12 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer.
It's 4-seamer. It hasn't just been the slider and the curveball. That's 94, 95. Bayou, top of the zone. Dominance on his 103rd pitch. Still throwing mid-90s live. And there comes David Bell.
It's going to be it. What a performance by Trevor Bauer today. It'll be up to the Cincinnati bullpen from here on out. Both starters brilliant in this series opener. He is a beauty, isn't he? Empty ballpark, and he gives a sarcastic chop on his way out in Atlanta. Performance Trevor Bauer just turned in. He has not lost any of his personality traits either. The sarcastic exit chop to the empty ballpark in Atlanta. What a performance. 12 strikeouts, a new Reds postseason record. 7 2/3 of 2-hit shutout baseball.
Yeah, Matty, his website is displayed on his cleats. The Cy Young Award will be displayed soon at his home.
He'll hand the ball to Raisel Iglesias, who ended the season about as stingy as Bauer was today. He gets Ronald Acuna Jr. looking for the final out in the last of the 8th.
And the folks at home are saying, why not keep Bauer in there for one more? David Bell going to Iglesias, 159 versus right-handed hitters.
Maybe that last swing, too, that Acuna hit off of Bauer. Last plate appearance, hitting a double.
Yep.
Yeah, that double, by the way, is the only extra base hit of the afternoon. 3 balls and a strike. They gave him the green light on 3-0-2. Why not?
Absolutely.
Win it with one swing here.
Neon green. Let it eat.
Another big rip on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Iglesias, in his last 15 appearances of the regular season, posted a 0.56 earned run average. Represented quite a turnaround from the uneven start that he had this year. And he comes back to strike out Acuna. Picking up right where Trevor Bauer left off to the 9th inning, still scoreless. Underway with Game 1 action. Reds and Braves are scoreless headed to the 9th. Marlins and Cubs are in action currently on ABC. Next up is the Cardinals and Padres on ESPN2. That kicks off at 5 Eastern. Then later tonight, the Brewers and Dodgers at 10 Eastern on ESPN. Postseason veteran Mark Melancon, the Atlanta closer, called on in a scoreless tie in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, the veteran fastball, cutter, knuckle curve, and a split. Saved 51 games 5 years ago with the Pirates.
Breaking ball to Joey Votto starts him with a strike. Votto, Suarez, and Moustakas for the Reds. And Votto sends a bouncer up the line for Freeman, one away.
Good cutter, late action into Votto's hands.
Not only did Trevor Bauer notch a big strikeout total in this one, he is the first pitcher in postseason history with as many as 12 strikeouts and no walks in a shutout performance. Didn't finish the shutout, so first pitcher with at least 12 strikeouts, no runs allowed, and no walks in a postseason game. And through all of that, he did not exit with a lead. It's a scoreless ball game. It's 0-2 to Eugenio Suarez. Middle of the Reds lineup has been quiet tonight, or today. Suarez and Moustakas have combined 0 for 6, make it 0 for 7 as Suarez strikes out for the second time.
Cutter for the first out, knuckle curve here. You see the knuckle and the spike, and just buried it nicely. See the knuckle there, and spins it really well for the strikeout.
Here's Mike Moustakas now.
How about the former Bruins, Matty? Less than 18 hours ago, Cole Bauer combined 25 strikeouts, no walks.
Melanson hits the corner 1-1. Yeah, a pretty decent day for the UCLA guys for sure. Decent 24 hours, that is.
They're dancing in the streets of Westwood there by Sunset in Los Angeles.
Somewhere Eric Karros is buying a round of beers at Hermosa Beach. 2 balls and a strike.
And one swing of the bat can be the difference here.
It's a 3-1 now. Aristides Aquino waiting on deck.
Dangerous pitch here coming up.
The 3-1. Back to a full count now. When the Braves bat in their half of the ninth, they'll have Freeman, Ozuna, and Darno, the 2-3-4 batters. And we're assuming it's going to be against Raisel Iglesias because there's nobody up in the Cincinnati bullpen. Full count pitch. And Moustakas sends a bouncing ball to the right side of the infield. A breezy 1-2-3 ninth for Mark Melanson as the Braves try to walk it off in game 1. Differential batting average and OPS are all top 5 in Major League Baseball, and it's just going to take the right combination or the right swing, one guy running into one, to earn a game 1 victory here. We are scoreless in the last of the 9th.
Here we go. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. 2 amazing offseason acquisitions.
And the incumbent 4-time All-Star Freddie Freeman leads it off against Raisel Iglesias, who will continue after recording the final out in the 8th.
Freeman 0 for 6 against Iglesias.
Yeah, the combination of Freeman, Ozuna, and Darno are combined 2 for 14 against the Reds right-hander. 2-1. You know, last night we were talking about the Yankees' lack of success on nights that they don't homer. For the Reds, it's even more exaggerated. They are 3-13 this year when they don't hit a home run. I mean, they not only haven't homered today, they haven't scored. As we talked about, they are so home run dependent. 60% of their runs this year coming courtesy of the homer. They had chances to manufacture, but that well-timed base hit just wasn't there.
Change up here.
Spoiled away 3-2.
Boy, Iglesias is a handful. 98 on the fastball, El Duque slider, and a little power change up there, 90 to 92. Change up more for the lefties, sliders more for the righties.
Missed with a fastball, winning runs aboard to start the last of the ninth. That is the first walk all day by Cincinnati pitching. Bauer, no walks in 7 2/3. So now Marcell Ozuna. Fastball for a strike. Ozuna hit 2 postseason home runs last year as a Cardinal. Braves fans probably remember the great series he had against Atlanta in a St. Louis uniform. He was 9 for 21. 5 extra base hits in that division series last year. Oh, 2 to the National League's home run leader. Here's a guy that's back on the market for 2021, and he's done nothing but improve his stock with his 1 year with the Braves.
Jackpot. Anyone else but Freeman on this roster, leadoff walk and probably pinch run for.
Swing and a miss. 99-mile-an-hour fastball takes care of Ozuna.
Best fastball hitter in Major League Baseball this year. And here's Cheddar, top of the zone. This is a Braves offense that has scored 26 runs in one game. 14 runs, 13 runs, 12 runs, and they have not scored. Again, great pitching usually beats great hitting.
0-1 the count to Darno, who's hitless today. Well, it's a Braves lineup that led all of baseball in OPS, extra base hits, total bases. They finished second in batting average and slugging. And again, they were completely mystified by Trevor Bauer today. 0-2. Ozzie Albies next. Should this go to extra innings, the Reds would have Aquino, Winker, and Farmer. And bear in mind that the extra innings rule that applied during the regular season, a runner at second to start the inning, does not apply in the postseason this year.
29 runs in one game. I've never seen that before. Now, there's an 0-2 pitch. He gets away with one. He wants it up and misses middle. And if you're going to go to the fastball, you got to make sure it's up.
Up and taken for a called strike 3.
Another fastball, 98, upper outside quadrant, just bullets. That ball is straight as an arrow, top of the zone, power, conviction.
Two gone. And now it's Ozzie Albies. Switch hitter again in from the left side. Albies had a scoring decision play in the second that we were guaranteed was an error charged to Joey Votto. The ruling was then changed to a hit, then changed back to an E3. So the Braves' first hit of the game didn't come until Albies' 4th inning single. Since then, they've added only the Acuna double. Atlanta has been held to 3 hits and a walk in this game. Wild pass and a miss, and it's 1-2.
And with the Reds, especially with 2 outs, outfield doesn't want to get anything in the gap, so you're playing no doubles, making sure you get 2 hits to score 1 run.
And I got to correct my total. It's 2 hits for Atlanta today. 2-2.
Ozzie looking for a pitch. He can split the gaps for a game winner.
Freddie Freeman drew the leadoff walk. Ozuna struck out. Darno struck out.
Wow.
And Albies strikes out. The dominant ninth by Raisel Iglesias. This one's going to extra innings in Cincinnati. Scoreless. Oh, we're in Atlanta. Scoreless.
White Sox A's will start in moments over on ESPN News. Jose Abreu and company trying to finish things off. Keuchel Bassett, the pitching matchup. You can watch multi-game coverage, Matt, via Squeeze Play on ESPN+.
And we, Kevin, are going to extra innings. Will Smith will take over here in the top half of inning number 10. Back with Alex Rodriguez, Matt Vasgersian, Buster Olney will also be with you at 7 Eastern tonight for the Yankees and Indians game 2 of their series. Aristides Aquino leads things off. Aquino, Winker, and Farmer for Cincinnati. A scoreless extra innings postseason game, the likes of which baseball has not seen in some time. Courtesy of the great Sarah Langs, who provided us with this time date stamp. This is the first such game since Game 6 of the 1997 ALCS between the Orioles and Indians. It went into the 11th scoreless before Cleveland won on a home run by the late Tony Fernandez in the top of the 11th.
Nice nugget, Sarah. Good one.
1-2 to Aquino. Aquino is singled in 3 trips to the plate. Laid off that, and it's 2-2. Again, 19 homers for him in 56 games as something of a phenom at the end of 2019. up and down to the alternate training site no fewer than 4 times this year. The 2-2. Bullpen is a strength for the Atlanta Braves. They are set up to go as long as they need. We've seen Martin and Melanson from that group, and now Will Smith here in the 10th. Got him.
And for Smith, after a bunch of sliders, the fastball up 95, top of the zone, swinging underneath it. Nice leverage. Braves look looking to have a nice front line. Martin at 6'8", Smith now at 6'5".
Yeah, big dudes.
Always tougher to face tougher pitches versus shorter pitchers. You just don't see the ball as well.
Coming at you from the right and left side. Sweeping slider in for a strike to Jesse Winker. Winker's 0 for 2 in this one. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Will Smith was a part of the Braves' kind of early offseason spending splurge. Bullpen was a problem last year for Atlanta, and they fortified it. Trading for Melanson last year, signing Will Smith in the offseason. Ball and 2 strikes to Winker. Somehow able to lay off that slider, and it's 2-2.
Good take and a good call.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Jesse Winker with Kyle Farmer waiting on deck. Couldn't lay off at that time. 2 gone, bases empty as we check in with Kevin Connors.
Matt, the Twins are facing elimination. They trailed the Astros 1-0 in the 5th when Nelson Cruz delivers. Marwin Gonzalez is going to score, but check out the relay. Tucker to Correa to Maldonado to get Luis Arias at the plate. 1-1 game over on ESPN2. Matt, White Sox A's right now on ESPN News.
Wow. I mean, the Twins just, what do they have to do for some postseason prosperity, right? They finally get the big hit from Nelly Cruz. Should have scored more than a run. I guess they're happy being back to a 1-1 game there. We'll keep our eyes on that one. Kevin, thank you. Here's Kyle Farmer. Hitless 0 for 3 in this one. But Will Smith having a lot of success glove side. Riley to Freeman, and a 1-2-3 10th gives the Braves another chance to walk it off. Still scoreless in Atlanta. Boy, in the year of the home run, in the era of launch angle and fly ball generation, we've got a good old-fashioned National League scoreless game in extra innings in Atlanta. Lucas Sims is the new pitcher for Cincinnati. And most interestingly, he will start this assignment against the guy he was traded for, Adam Duvall. Sims was drafted by the Braves as a first-rounder in 2012. 6 years later, sent to Cincinnati as a part of the compensation package when Duvall came to the Braves. And they face each other here in a scoreless tie, bottom of the 10th inning.
And for Sims, fastball, curveball, slider, and a change for lefties.
It's been a hat-trick afternoon for Duvall. 3 strikeouts today. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Atlanta opened the bottom of the 9th with a leadoff walk. Freeman drew a base, but then Ozuna, Darno, and Albies all struck out against Raisel Iglesias. And the game went to the 10th.
For the Braves, you want to take a pitch here, make them throw a strike. You need a base runner.
The 3-0. And he takes a strike. 3-1. Marlins and Cubs are scoreless. They're not as deep along into that game as we are here in Atlanta. Astros and Twins tied at 1 in the middle innings. Runs at a premium on day 2 of the fall frenzy. And a full count now. So Sims back in the count after falling behind 3-0. Payoff pitch, a wild one, not even close.
And that's just a bad pitch selection for me. Matty goes mid-90s fastball, 3-0, bullet, 3-1, perfect pitch. And the slider, never competitive.
All right, I'm going to feed the beast here and ask you this question as we see Archie Bradley and Amir Garrett up for the Reds. Winning run on base. Dansby Swanson can handle the bat with the best of them. Is there any chance he's bunting?
Bunt. Only if you want to win, you bunt.
All right, here we go with Swanson, who's hitless in this game.
There's a lot of nerves in October baseball, even though we're playing in September still. When you put the ball in play, bunting, you allow the opposition to beat themselves, to implode. Put the pressure on the Reds, not on the Braves.
Dansby did not have a sacrifice hit this year. Swinging away on 1-0, and he sends a fly ball into foul territory. He gets out of play. In over 2,000 Major League plate appearances, Swanson has 8 sacrifice hits.
The Braves with only 1 sacrifice bunt all year, so it's not in their DNA.
A ball and a strike. Wow. It's a breaking ball that misses a plate by about 1.5 feet, and Swanson couldn't lay off of it.
And this is okay if this is May or June. The games don't mean that much, but when the game means something, you got to advance. And the value of 90 runs, Matty, we've played for 10 innings, and we don't have any runs. So this is not like a very regular season game.
And now Swanson behind. On the ground, a tailor-made double play ball. And the Reds failed to turn them both because Swanson was really humping it up the box.
Because he didn't want to hear Alex Rodriguez talk about not bunting.
At least there wasn't a double play. Just frustrating to watch. And Buster, you remember the World Series a few years ago. Played 18 innings in Dodger Stadium, and it was just bad baseball after bad baseball.
Yeah, it was. There was nothing classic about that game, as it was misreported at the time. There's Markakis now. You know, honestly, Alex, I think it's just gone. I think it's dead. It's dead, Jim. Let it go. If I could do a Star Trek quote.
I can't let it go. I'm stuck.
It's like pining for your VCR when you know it hasn't worked for 20 years.
But winning is still cool, right?
Yeah.
So you almost rather lose your way than win the old school way.
I'm not saying it's my way. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just saying I just think it's dead. I just think the choice isn't even there to bunt anymore.
I mean, when I mean modern baseball.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Look, those are a couple of old school cats right there. And if they're not putting the sacrifice bunt play on, they just don't feel confidence in their personnel's ability to execute it.
Well, that's a great point. You know, the season is a dress rehearsal for Broadway October, right? And if you're in the dress rehearsal, if you never practice bunt, then obviously you don't expect to bunt in October, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's like playing golf with 12 clubs in your bag, not 13. And in order to win championships or U.S. Opens or Augusta, you need a putter. You know, you drive for stroke, putt for dough. Same in baseball.
2 balls and no strikes to Nick Markakis, who's hitless in this one. He takes a strike.
You know, you talk to Pete Rose, you talk to Hank Aaron, but even if you want to bring it back a couple decades, Chipper Jones, Jeter, all these guys that have championships after championships, they will all tell you it's executing the micro, not the macro.
Two balls and a strike to count to Nick Markakis. Good breaking ball to get Sims back in the count.
Little backdoor breaking ball. Good call by the home plate umpire.
Couple of shakes from Sims. Now they have what they want. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Came after him with a fastball. Hey, I got one for you from Sarah Langs. You ready for this one?
I can't wait.
The last time a team won via a walk-off against the Reds in the postseason was the Carlton Fisk homer in Game 6 of the 1975 World Series.
Wow. That was the year I was born.
So you have very little memory of that.
Some good things and some bad things happened that year.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Markakis. Full count. All right, so if you're not going to bunt, do you send the runner?
1,000% the runner should be running. And there's more to unpack that we're going to come back to, Matty, because I would love to have Markakis here with a man on second. Because then you have the opposing manager has to decide, do you pitch to Riley? Or if you do, then Acuna comes up. There's so many things you open up and unbox. Go.
Runner goes 3-2 to Markakis. Is hit to first base. Votto's got it, and the winning run does advance into scoring position. So in sending the runner, they stay out of the inning-ending double play, and they've still got a chance to win the ball game.
Good running, good hitting here, and an excellent play. Maybe a game saver for the Reds, because if this ball gets by, it's 1st and 3rd with 1 out for the Braves. Now you have a base open, but you got to pretend it's not open because you have the All-Star on deck.
Yeah, Acuna next, and there's a breaking ball that starts with a strike for Riley.
This is a perfect example how a superstar like Acuna can affect the game even when he's not in the box.
0-2. Should this ballgame go to an 11th inning, the Reds would have Barnhart, and then the top of the order is Senzel and Castellanos. Who's going to do that Yankees-Indians game if this one continues into the night?
My nephew Nick.
What's Berman doing tonight? The swing and a miss by Riley. Sims pitches out of it, stranding the winning run at second. And let's go to the 11th. Still somehow scoreless in Atlanta. Of 8 today, and the fall frenzy showing no mercy. This one's still going into the 11th inning without a score. Bobby Cox statue outside of Pruist Park. Will Smith continues on the mound in relief for Atlanta. And they'll get Tucker Barnhart to lead things off for the Reds. Then the top of the order. A very light line score. 8 combined hits through 10 innings.
I'm still upset. Can I say one more thing about the bunting, Matt?
Yeah,
am I allowed
continue.
Permission? The great Hank Aaron. 21 sacrifice bunts. It was good enough for a guy that had 755. It should be enough for Swanson. And I love Swanson. But bunting was the right play there.
Well, you're going to have to talk to the analytics people about that, Mr. Rodriguez.
They would not let me in the room. They will lock it up. I don't have a degree from Dartmouth or anywhere else. Westminster Christian.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Tucker Barnhart. Well, those sliders have just been absolutely nasty.
Filthy. Smith known for his slider, a bucket of them, and here's the best one so far. Unhittable.
So with the right-handers Senzel and Castellanos coming up, it's going to be Darren O'Day out of the Atlanta bullpen. Pitching change, and we'll be right back. The bullpen for the 37-year-old veteran right-hander Darren O'Day. 19 appearances during the regular season, an ERA just over a run. Coming off a fine regular season at the age of 37, and a pinch hitter has been announced for Cincinnati. Shogo Akiyama pinch hitting for David Bell with 1 gone and the base is empty. Akiyama was part of the off-season spending spree imported from Japan. And after a kind of uneven start to his major league career, got himself on solid footing in the month of September. He had 317 in September, so some momentum as he gets into his first postseason experience stateside. A ball and a strike from O'Day.
And O'Day.
Alex, you see O'Day, the right-handed side armor. How do you think you did in your career against him? What would you guess?
It's got to be awful, bloody. This guy abused me. Let me just give you one. Buck Showalter, anytime I even just peeked my head out of the dugout, O'Day was warming up. And every time it was the same result, a strikeout. But whatever the numbers are, Buster, trust me, I felt worse emotionally. It was an abuse. Thanks, Buck Showalter. Give me the bad news.
You were exactly right. The result was exactly the same. 0 for 9 with 3 strikeouts.
This is the time I definitely did not want to be right. And what made him so difficult was you see him go sidearm, but he's the one guy, that pitch right there. When you have guys that throw sidearm, you had sink. He comes from this angle, and you'll see the angle right here. And it is so difficult to keep that ball true, like a four-seamer. And he did this on purpose. He called it the riser. Fastball up, and then slider away. Battle tested. This guy walked on to the University of Florida and has had a great career, fantastic in the clubhouse. And Buck Showalter once told me, this guy's the leader, not only of the bullpen, but of the entire team. Another great pickup for the Braves.
Here's Castellanos now. O'Day was an all-star in 2015 in Baltimore, part of a very good bullpen for the Orioles back then. Along with Zach Britton. Two balls and no strikes to Castellanos, who's got 2 of the Reds' 6 hits in this game. You know, we keep doing this kind of, you know, flipping the lineup card over to peek into what's next. And Atlanta will have the top of their order in the bottom half of the 11th inning. Two and one to Castellanos.
Castellanos' first manager in the big leagues was Jim Leland. Now, Jim Leland, back in the day, you would smoke, you know, back there during games. You know, it was a different era. And he said, Castellanos is my favorite player of all time. You know why? His father is a lung doctor. True story.
Said the guy that would go through 3 packs of nails during batting practice.
I mean, you're talking about a good baseball guy. There's no one better than Mr. Jim Leland.
No doubt. Into the corner. It hits the pad out there in left, but that won't prevent Castellanos from reaching second. And the Reds have the go-ahead run in scoring position with 2 gone in the 11th.
And the slider here, 79 miles an hour. Good hitting, head down, lets the ball travel, and lightning fast with the bat speed.
So now it's Atlanta faced with the kind of question that we asked on the other side of the scorecard a couple of times tonight. Well, we don't even have to ask, because with Eugenio Suarez being announced, the Braves have walked Joey Votto. Suarez has struggled this afternoon, striking out in each of his last 2 appearances, and he just looks a tick off in terms of timing. So they intentionally pass Votto, and it'll be up to Suarez. "15 homers during the regular season, 38 RBIs.
Matty, Castellanos at second base. Watch his lack of secondary lead. If you get a base hit, he will not be able to score. I mean, literally standing there, and wherever the outfield is, there's going to be a play at home. Watch the lack of secondary. He should be out of your screen, but instead he's in your screen. And those are the little things that help you win playoff series and help you go to the next round. Is details, details, details. The third base coach should be saying, hey, way off. Give me a good secondary lead. That's a lazy, terrible secondary lead in this situation. Terrible.
O'Day not paying too much attention to him. Castellanos off to a little larger lead now, and the 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes. The lack of that big hit, and as tough as Darren O'Day is for somebody that's faced him a lot, this is the first time Eugenio Suarez has ever taken a look at him.
Advantage O'Day.
That angle he creates, that release point. A ball and 2 strikes. First and second with 2 gone, top of the 11th in a scoreless tie. Yeah, why not go out there and try to make him expand? Not a bad miss. It's 2-2. Again, top of the order for Atlanta when we go to the bottom of the inning. Just missed on 2-2. And that was a miss. Confirmed by K-Zone 3D.
Yep. Slider down. Good pitch, good take, good call. Now this is big, Matty, because now you're going to start the runners, and the secondary lead is no longer an issue. So any base hit, the Reds score.
And there's ball 4. That's going to load the bases with 2 away.
Probably have a lefty here come in.
Yeah, that is not what the Braves were looking for when they intentionally walked Votto. They wanted to end the inning with Suarez. Now they've got to go back into the bullpen for a left-hander. Tyler Matzik being summoned to face Mike Moustakas. We'll be right back.
Lets it play him. It's ruled a hit, but you got to make that play. 2-run error. 2-0 A's. Meantime, 17 straight playoff losses for the Twins. They're in a hole again. Carlos Correa, his 12th career playoff home run. Bottom 7 over on ESPN2. Matt, the Astros 2-1 lead. And a reminder, you can check out all the action, multi-game coverage on Squeeze Play, available on ESPN+. Matt?
Good stuff, Kevin. Thanks. Chris Bassett on the mound for Oakland, trying to stave off elimination and being staked to that 2-0 lead. Meanwhile, back here in Atlanta, we are still scoreless in the top of the 11th. The best chance yet for the Reds to push across a run with the bases loaded. Tyler Matzik is being summoned to deal with Nick Castellanos. Matzik, a left-handed specialist. He's had a great year. Led all left-handed relief pitchers during the regular season with 43 strikeouts over his 29 innings. The guy whose story is well known by now. He was out of baseball altogether as recently as 2017. Pitched in the independent leagues the following year. Toiled in the minors for the Braves. And has become one of the big bullpen weapons this season. A quick 0-2 count here to Castellanos. It's a 2-out double by Castellanos. Walk to Votto. Suarez walked. 0-2 to Moustakas. As I get my Greek surnames tied up in my tongue. 1-2-3. Matzik carves up the Moose. Leaves him loaded. Another chance for the Braves to walk it off. Going to the last of the 11th. Still scoreless.
Gas.
In this series opener, best of 3. We got the White Sox and A's coming up. Game 2 of that one is underway. Oakland leads 2-0. As Kevin Connors just showed us. Astros and Twins are underway, as are the Cubs and Marlins on ESPN. On ABC, rather. Shogo Akiyama takes over in center field after pinch hitting for Nick Senzel. And a new pitcher. And a guy capable of going more than just an inning. The physical specimen that is Michael Lorenzen.
With the fastball, the cutter, the changeup, the slider, sink, or curve. In short, the kitchen sink.
Top of the order for Atlanta. Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna. And it's a top of the order, one of the most capable and decorated in baseball that's been conspicuously quiet on this afternoon. Just one hit here, and that was Acuna's 6th inning double. It's also the only extra base hit of the game for the Braves. A team that led all the baseball in extra base hits and total bases during the regular season. That's how good Cincinnati pitching has been today. Michael Lorenzen finished the season strong for the Reds. He was a big reason why they cruised down the stretch and were able to win 9 of their last 11. In Lorenzen's last 11, he posted an ERA under 2. And again, this is a guy capable of going just more than an inning. Acuna gets a green light on 3-0 and pops it up.
I don't love the 3-0 pitch here, even though it's a strike. You want to get on base. Make the fresh pitcher make some pitches to get you out.
You know, a lot of guys won't cop to this, but is there any doubt in your mind now that you're removed from your playing days that guys sell out and try to hit homers to end extra innings games? It just...
Yeah, I mean, I was guilty of it all the time. And Joe Torre would always kind of whisper in our ear. He would always talk very, he was like the Godfather Torre, and he would say, hey, big guy, remember, one of my favorite players growing up was Dale Murphy. And he says, just like Murph. Now, he played with Murph. He knows Murph very well. He said, just like Murph. And he would point at my left shoulder, keep that thing in there, and go to right center. Think small, and big things would happen. And that's exactly what you have to do in postseason play, and exactly what you have to do in extra innings play.
I mean, the temptation has to be there for a guy that's so capable and so young and energetic like Acuna. Man, I go into hero mode, right? I'm going to win this right here.
And you mentioned Walt Weiss. That's where these guys like, Ron Washington, he's a good listener. He's a good worker. But I remember Derek Jeter screaming. I mean, it wouldn't work today in 2020 because there's no fans in the stands. When he saw a swing like that, he would scream. Him, Bernie Williams, Posada, hey, base hits, no home runs. Because that was the winning way, and that's what he learned from Torre, and that's what he, as a leader, the captain of the team, made sure he conveyed to everybody else.
What a good take by Freddie Freeman, who's worked it to a full count now, 3-2. Freddie's been on base twice today as a hit batsman and via the base on balls. Full count pitch. Wow. Chased a changeup. Good pitch by Lorenzen. Wow.
His 10th pitch, the changeup acting like a split. Look at the circle right there. And then it just dives away. It's not often you see a guy like Freeman have such a bad swing, lost his balance, perfect speed, great location, and the arm speed is what sells that pitch. It looks like a fastball. It acts like a changeup.
0-1 the count to Marcelo Zuna.
Cal State Fullerton product, just like Justin Turner. Only 28 years old. A lot of Cali guys, Matty.
Well, can play all year. Big state, if you don't mind paying all the taxes.
Yeah, USC.
We are a strike away from making postseason history today. This is on the verge of becoming the first game in postseason history to be scoreless through 11 innings. And that's exactly what this game has done.
Wow.
A record-setting afternoon in Atlanta, but still one without a conclusion. For the first time ever, a postseason game without a run through 11. Looked at each other and said, it's starting to feel like one of those games where a homer's going to win it. And that's, one guy's going to give it up.
Yeah.
It still feels like that, but I don't feel like anybody's going to homer today. I don't feel like anybody's going to score today.
Well, listen, I'm glad I'm not playing anymore. The way these guys are throwing the ball 98, 99 with wicked sliders, and the combination of their stuff and the hitter's approach, we could be here a while.
So on to the 12th inning we go for Aristides Aquino, Jesse Winker, and Kyle Farmer. If ever there was a matchup that could yield a positive result for Cincinnati, it would be this one. Aquino is kind of a versus left specialist in that lineup. He's got that massive raw power. It's translated into only a 1 for 4 today. But here we are in the 12th without a run.
You know, it's a driver mentality, Matty. Everyone out there is just going out with the driver, swinging as hard as they can. There is no 7-iron. There is no chipping. There's no putting. There's no choking up. Phil Rizzuto, you know, Votto still does it as an old school guy. But there's a premium in contact and discipline, and especially in the month of October. Nice.
And Aquino's got a leadoff base hit.
Now, Matty, you've been talking about his talent all day long. I mean, this is the kind of approach you like to see. This is a little 7-iron right here. Good balance. You know, 3/4 swing. We call this the 80% swing, which Garrett Cole was talking last night about 80% pitching. That's the hitting version right there. As a hitter, you want to think hit the ball solid, not hit the ball far. Solid is king.
Here's Jesse Winker now. He's 0 for 3. He's been hit by a pitch today.
And the difference for the Reds today has been the base running mistakes. Several big ones earlier in the game.
Yeah, they tried to get fancy with runners at the corners and 2 out earlier. A stunt, if you will, delayed double steal that looked wonky, that never really got off the ground. Nick Castellanos at one point tried to advance from first to third on a base hit to left and was thrown out. Cincinnati's had a few more opportunities than Atlanta. For Atlanta, they really haven't been able to generate anything.
Right.
2-0.
The Ozuna pop-up 0-2 curveball against Bauer. The ball stayed in play, fly ball to the catcher. Little pop-up.
You know, this is an interesting element to the game that we really haven't brought up because it hasn't applied perhaps until now. But, you know, the 3-batter minimum is something that is still in effect. And Winker has a ball lined into right. Aquino wraps around. Go-ahead run is 90 feet away with nobody out in the top of the 12th.
Good hitting here and good base running by the Reds. Hitting behind the runner. Good contact, not trying to do too much. Better swings here for the Reds, thinking small. And now they're set up first and third.
Looks like Winker's going to be removed for a pinch runner. I mean, this is Travis Jankowski who'll run. This is where the Reds have to push across multiple runs. You got first and third, nobody out.
Now the Braves have a choice here. You can either play the infield in. Second choice is you can play the middle for double play. Corners in, which is what they're choosing. This is cover 3. So what that means is, as an infielder, you have a choice. If it's hit hard, you can go for 2. If it's hit softly, you can go home.
Shane Green is up in the bullpen for Atlanta. Kyle Farmer today's hitless 0 for 4. Atlanta loads up the left side of their infield, first and third with nobody out. 1-1.
Alex, from David Bell's perspective, how are you handling runner at third base?
Great question. If his ball up the middle hit hard, you go on contact. Hard ground ball to third base. If he goes to second, you go home.
Good velocity and a swing and a miss on 97.
And the Braves will trade 2 outs for 1 run.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Kyle Farmer. Chased the fastball up around the hat.
This is 98 miles an hour over his head. I mean, there's nobody hitting that ball up there. Not Pete Rose, not Tony Perez. I mean,
yeah, I mean, Kyle knows it.
yeah, it's
right?
just anxiety too.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
It's happened to all of us a million times, and you want to get the run in. The reason why you chase that, Matty, when a guy throws that hard, you start anticipating and you start your swing earlier, and then you just call it swim mode and you can't stop.
There have been 31 strikeouts in this game today. Here's Barnhart now. Sweeping breaking ball taken for a strike.
Matt, we're over 300 pitches in this game now.
And you see what the Braves are playing. You have the middle playing for 2. Shortstop's too deep for me. He should move in at least 4 or 5 feet.
First and third, 1 gone.
And the reason why, if they hit a ground ball, it must be turned. So you do not want to play so deep. The other part is, if it's a chopper where you think you can't turn 2, you're coming home with it. So for me, he's a little bit too deep right there. Give me a full 2 or 3 feet in, exactly where the second baseman Ozzy's playing. That's the depth.
Barnhart shows bunt.
Oh, I like it, David Bell.
I mean, look, the last time they had Aquino at third, first and third, there were 2 out. It went haywire.
He already made an out at home.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a serious attempt and he pulled back, or if that was show.
That's a safety squeeze, right? So all that means is the runner at third base knows the safety bunt is on, puts it on, and you can just chase the third baseman down the line.
Squares around again. Did he offer it that one?
No.
They're appealing. Waiting for confirmation on the field. It looked like he pulled off of this.
So, Matty, let me unpack this for you. His goal here is to bunt the ball to third base. Aquino would be right behind the third baseman. The minute he goes to first, he just walks home.
A .250 hitter this year with runners in scoring position. 2 balls and a strike. I don't know if I like it, man. I know they're trying to stay out of an inning-ending double play. And they're clearly confident in Barnhart's ability to handle the bat.
Now, usually when he comes over and told you, he'll say something to you like, there's nothing on, bunt's on. On or off?
Squares around again. 3-1 now.
The reason why I like it, Matty, is you want to force the Braves to make a play. You either have to throw a strike or you have to execute fielding the ball.
When you also have to, you're forcing Matzik to execute a pitch.
That's right.
And as soon as you see that guy square around, he's fired 2 high fastballs that have missed by plenty.
It's like the hurry-up offense in football. If they never see it, they can't defend it.
3 balls and a strike. Barnhart swinging away, fouls it off.
Now, Matty, here's the question. 3-2. Is the man on first? Is he moving?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Johnny Vegas?
I'm tired.
Send him.
No, he has to stop. The reason why, with the lefty, you can't go first move. So that's something that I learned from Buck Showalter.
Well, look, you played Major League Baseball for 20 years and hit 700 homers, and I've been on the couch my whole life.
It's a great school.
I say send him.
Nope. You got to hold him.
Full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
There you go.
They sent him. USC.
They're back.
Do they send him again?
No.
I say yes, and I'll tell you why. Because it's 0-0. Both managers have been watching nothing happening for a long time. We saw David Bell apparently try to execute a delayed steal. I think he's trying to move things.
Buster, one caveat. When you have a lefty usually go first move, then the first base coach should whisper, make sure he goes home. Do not get picked off. That would be a bloodbath.
3-2. Jankowski runs again, and Barnhart strikes out. So Jankowski's credited with a stolen base. It's the second strikeout of the inning for Matzik.
And you see this? I mean, this could almost be hitter's interference right here. Because he just walks right in front of the plate, and that real estate right there belongs to the catcher. I would not be surprised if the Braves check on that. So I'm going to pour 4 and ball 5. And right here, that real estate belongs to the catcher, not to the hitter.
Yeah, and Barnhart is a catcher himself. He's so wrapped up in the moment of the strikeout that he just kind of spaced it.
And with the left-handed hitter, a lot of times you don't see that runner breaking.
We're going to have a pinch hitter here, as Freddie Galvis will pinch hit for Shogo Akiyama, who earlier pinch hit for Nick Senzel. And Rick Kranitz comes out. 28-man rosters in these postseason games, and that roster depth is really being exercised as we're in the 12th inning in this one.
Both teams 0 for 15 combined with man in scoring position.
First pitch to Freddie Galvis is in for a strike. Aquino singled to open the inning. Winker singled, and then strikeouts to Farmer and Barnhart. Matzik is now 1-2 to Freddie Galvis.
You're at third base watching ball in the dirt.
Got him looking. 3 straight strikeouts after back-to-back singles open the inning. And the Reds, who've let a lot of opportunities go by the boards today, let a big one go here in the 12th. 2 of the fall frenzy. Brian Goodwin takes over in center. This game has set records. It is the longest a postseason game has ever gone without a run, creeping up on a number of other marks as well. Two strikeouts away from tying the postseason single game combined strikeout record, which was 34 in that game 3 of the 2018 World Series between the Dodgers and the Red Sox. Michael Lorenzen continues. Darno, Albies, and Duvall bottom 12. And Travis d'Arnaud has a leadoff single. Little get me over breaking ball that d'Arnaud was on. You know, the kids are out from school now, so the crowd has gotten younger outside Truist Park. Charlie Culberson's going to pinch run. Winning runs on base to start the inning, but we said that in the 10th inning as well, and in the 9th.
Alex, runner at first base. Nobody out.
Swing for the fences.
Ozzy Albies, no sacrifice hits, 2019 or 2020.
Yeah. Didn't expect the back of the baseball card to reveal anything other than that. Albies bounces it right to second.
I don't understand.
And he beats out the double play. I mean, like clockwork, Alex. Don't bunt, and they hit it on the ground. The Braves are fortunate to have avoided the double play there.
Brett Butler's got to be somewhere turning off his tube. It's such a powerful tool. I mean, if he bunts right there, I bet you anything they throw that ball away and there's runners running all over the place with his speed.
Here's Adam Duvall now. Albies with good speed at first base. Duvall struck out 3 times and walked in this game.
And Matty, Albies should be running here in the next 2 pitches. He should be standing at second base. Pitcher's very slow to the plate, 1-4 to 1-5. Be aggressive here.
Ball and a strike. I mean, if you're a fan of chaos on a day where there are 8 postseason games, this was the first game of the day and it's in the 12th. There's been rain in Minneapolis between the Astros and the Twins. High winds at Wrigley, and even higher winds are expected at 7 Eastern when the 3 of us will be on the call for the Yankees and the Indians. There's a gale force wind warning in Cleveland tonight.
Wow.
They are anticipating up to 40-mile-an-hour winds at Progressive Field. Whether it's blowing in or out or side to side, that's unclear. It's going to be windy. That's all we know. As Albies sees the winning run with 1 gone. Do you think there'll be any consideration given to the extra innings rule applying in the postseason if it sticks around next year? Speaking of the rule where there's a runner at second.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I just think the purists are going to push back pretty hard if they tried to move that into the playoffs.
I really enjoyed all the adjustments that were made in 2020.
I think the universal DH is here to stay. That's just my personal guess. I don't know that the 3-batter minimum did anything to expedite the pace of play. I'm not sure if that had any effect at all. Of course, that was put in play before the COVID rules, quote unquote. Still 1-2 to Adam Duvall. With both teams going deep into their bullpens, and it seems so foreign to say that because Bauer was tremendous for 7 1/3. Fried went 7. Yet the length of this game has been such that the bullpens have in fact been used quite a bit. There's a little bit more pressure dialed up on the game. 2 starters tomorrow, Luis Castillo and Ian Anderson, the outstanding Braves rookie.
And the Reds should have a lefty up. If Markakis does come up to hit this inning, it should be left on left.
And they do have that left-hander up, Amir Garrett. And Duvall strikes out for the 4th time this afternoon.
A slider, not a very good one, a little bit of a cement mixer, and just too long of a swing, trying to do too much.
What's our strikeout total now? 33? 34. That ties the postseason record, that World Series game between the Red Sox and Dodgers.
Tell you what, you have 34 strikeouts and you refuse to bunt, hit and run, or
Dansby
steal.
Swanson takes a strike. Yeah. I feel you. So here's the game we've been playing for the last hour or so. If this game goes to the 13th, the Reds would have Castellanos, Votto, and Suarez. A total of 2 extra base hits in this game. A double for Ronald Acuna.
Double for Castellanos.
Double for Castellanos.
That might be it.
That's it. And as Vin Scully used to say, deuces are wild. 2 out, a 2-strike count to Dansby Swanson.
And Alex, you notice that thing forming in the background right behind the hitters?
I do, and I see hitters starting to wear light glasses, which what they're trying to do is make it all sunshine. But the longer it goes, the tougher it is to hit.
Thought it was interesting as that ball bounces away. Albies gets to second base anyway. A wild pitch advances the winning runner to scoring position now.
Good base running here, anticipating ball in the dirt. Nice block. Nothing you can do there with Albie speed. Boom. Nice read. Base hit, and the Braves walk off here.
Swanson with a chance to be a hero on a day where he is 0 for his first 4. Winning run at second with 2 gone. You know, back to that shadows comment, it was interesting when Brian Snickers shared with us one of the problems they had with the cardboard cutouts in day games, and there was kind of a reflective glare that they had to mitigate by angling the cutouts back. That's not a problem at this hour, as the cutouts are in large part in shadows. But the shadows themselves will play a role at some point the longer we go. Full 2. And we are going to the 13th. Still scoreless in Atlanta.
Astros Twins right now on ESPN 2. Byron Buxton on as a pinch runner. He's going to be picked off in the 8th inning. Critical mistake there. The Twins trailing the Astros 2-1, facing elimination. Meantime, the magical Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres set to take on the Cardinals. No Lamet or Clevenger on the Padres postseason roster. That game coming up next on ESPN 2.
Boy, good stuff, Kevin. It's been a wild day so far, and with so much still to come, including a conclusion in this game, scoreless as we head to the 13th. Tyler Flowers will catch, part of a entirely new battery for Atlanta. And Shane Green takes over on the mound for the Braves. 29th appearance of the year. Good numbers during the regular season, 2.60 ERA. And he'll face the meat of the lineup for the Reds. And the only player that's been on the field today that hasn't struck out, Nick Castellanos. He's got 3 hits on the day. Oh, my goodness. And Green gets a call. It's been hard enough to hit on a day like today.
The Green sinker, cutter, slider, change.
Minnesota running out of time at home against Houston, as Kevin just shared with us. Corey Dickerson has just hit a 3-run home run in Chicago to give the Marlins a 3-1 lead over the Cubs in their game 1. And so far, Oakland with success, a 4-0 lead through 3 as they try to stave off elimination. Castellanos has joined the strikeout club.
Good changeup here. You see the circle change, 85 miles an hour. Changeup acting like a split, diving at the 58-foot mark. Great arm action. Right out there, getting tougher to see balls, especially secondary pitches, breaking balls, and changeups.
There's Joey Votto now. He was intentionally walked his last at-bat, 1 for 4 today. Had a sense when all this began with 16 teams in the postseason that there was going to be an 8-1 seed, an 8-1 matchup where the 8th seed knocked off a favorite, or a 7-2, right? One of the dogs is going to survive in this thing. And it looks like the Astros are getting close to filling that role. They've got a 2-1 lead on the Twins late in that elimination game. Promising start for the young Marlins. No idea what's going to happen in our game.
And Matt, it's exciting. I mean, this is has a little bit of an Omaha College World Series feel. I've had so many friends, family reaching out, and they're watching. There's tremendous recourse. They don't know what's what. But the idea that the Marlins could beat the Cubs, that's exciting. And anybody can win this year.
Marlins sizable underdogs in that series as Votto rips a ball into right. And the Reds have a 1-out base runner here in the 13th.
Votto stays back nicely on this little slider here. 85 doesn't do much, like a little BP fastball with spin. Gets that foot down. That adjustment he made in mid-August, staying taller through the baseball.
It's been a tough afternoon for Eugenio Suarez. 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Oh,
and that one bounces away from Flowers. A free 90 feet for Votto. So the go-ahead run moves into scoring position now with 1 gone.
There's a wild, wild pitch here. Greeny just bounced it. Not much you can do there.
.49 homers a year ago for Eugenio Suarez. 100 runs or more driven in each of the 2 years prior to 2020. It's been a tick off today. 1-1. He'll also punch out. Led Major League Baseball, striking out 189 times last year. Into left field. That gets past Riley. Votto to third. Take a look at this again to see why Votto wasn't able to score, if they just played it safe or if he just didn't get off the bag.
Yeah, just froze in the fastball on the line drive there. And just a poor jump. Watch the hesitation here.
Yeah. Yeah, Votto was breaking back to second base, thought that line drive might be caught. So it's runners at the corners, one away, and another Atlanta pitching change. Enter A.J. Minter. We'll be right back. His 23rd appearance of the season, really good numbers during the regular year. Lowest ERA in the National League among left-handed relievers.
The Braves bullpen have an answer for anything you throw at them. Minter fastball, slider, curve, occasional changeup out of Texas A&M.
The way David Bell sees this, he's got two chances to get that ever elusive run across. Mike Moustakas, at best, can do it himself. At worst, can avoid the double play. Aquino next, and he's deadly against left-handed pitching. An afternoon in Atlanta where the Braves and Reds have set a couple of postseason records. The longest scoreless postseason game ever, and the most combined strikeouts in a postseason game. One to Moustakas, who had a big opportunity with the bases loaded in the top of the 11th. And struck out against Tyler Matzik.
And Moustakas, the hero of the 2015 World Series, playing for the Royals versus the Mets. Tougher to see with that shadow. You see it creeping up there.
Front door breaking ball. A ball and two strikes, the count to Moustakas. Jesus Aguilar has just homered in Chicago, and the Miami Marlins have taken a 5-1 lead over the Cubs. Almost airmailed that one. I mean, that's one way to score a run.
Good stop here. Catcher turned into a first baseman there.
Houston has scored again in the top of the 9th inning in Minnesota to take a 3-1 lead over the Twins in that elimination game. Easy take that time, and it's a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mike Moustakas. Votto singled with 1 out. Suarez followed with a base hit. The 3-2. I mean, this is the 3rd straight inning here in extra frames where Cincinnati has put multiple base runners aboard. Bases loaded in the 11th. First and second, nobody out in the 12th. I mean, David Bell is among the most patient managers in the game, but I think even his patience have been challenged today.
Be a fastball away here.
It is, and it's fouled off.
351 pitches now, Matt, in this game.
Creeping up on that as a record. Why not?
I'm sure somewhere.
Chris Davis has just homered in Oakland. Solo shot against Dallas Keuchel, and the A's have extended their lead in their elimination game. 5-0 A's. The next 3-2. Moustakas hangs around.
Alex, when you had a bat go like this, extended pitch after pitch after pitch, how did you feel in the box?
You know, 3-2 makes a hitter get greedy. That's why you have so many chases. I would pretend it was 2-2 and make it even and not get greedy. But the more pitches, the better I felt.
The 3-2 pitch once again. And Moustakas takes ball 4. For the second straight inning, the Reds have loaded the bases. This time it's with only 1 away.
And a championship at bat there for the world champ, Moustakas. And Reds manager said it all year, I believe.
We keep saying this, but it's the biggest opportunity yet for the Reds to finally get on the scoreboard. It's Aristides Aquino, who's got a couple of singles today. And we'll say the same thing here. At best, drive in a run. At worst, avoid the double play. Votto, Suarez, and Moustakas with 1 gone. Oh, and 1 the count to Aquino.
Matt, Tyler Kepner of the New York Times just tweeted out the Reds and Braves have combined for more strikeouts in this game than there were in the entire 1976 World Series when the Reds swept the Yankees. 32.
That is good, great perspective from Tyler, and a sad reality. Oh, and 1 the count to Aquino. Travis Jankowski would bat next, and Jankowski would be making his first plate appearance of the afternoon. He came on to pinch run for Jesse Winker in the 12th. Oh, and 2 the count to Aquino. Jankowski's been pulled back in favor of a pinch hitter. Jose Garcia's grabbed a bat. Might it come down to a major league rookie making his first ever postseason appearance as a pinch hitter? That would be the case if the opportunity falls to Garcia. A ball and 2 strikes. Somehow able to stay alive. What a chance at redemption for Aquino, who once again was shuttled back and forth from the alternate training site no fewer than 4 times this year.
Drafted 10 years ago as a 16-year-old from Dominican Republic, occupying Eric the Red's number 44.
Ball and 2 strikes to Aquino. Again, it's hard to imagine the fact that both starters were so good in this one because we've gotten so deep into each bullpen. But Max Fried went 7 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. Bauer 7 2/3, striking out 12, a new Reds postseason franchise record. Still a ball and 2 strikes with the bases loaded. Made him chase, and there are 2 gone.
And a terrific pitch here by Minter. All the pitches, first change up there, you see him turn it over. And that's a swing that is a residual, seeing fastballs in, sliders in. This time the change up away. And a beauty.
So Jose Garcia is in fact announced to pinch hit here for Jankowski. He was summoned from the alternate training site on the 20th or 26th rather of August, and started at shortstop for the majority of Cincinnati's games down the stretch.
Matt, his numbers tell a story. 68 plate appearances, 1 walk, and 26 strikeouts. And you wonder if that's what Rick Kranitz is talking about right now.
Boy. You know, obviously David Bell is more familiar with his personnel than any of us, and he obviously thinks that this is the proper play to give Garcia the chance instead of Jankowski.
So, Matt, let me give you the good news and the bad news. Is be careful early first pitch. He's coming out hacking. The good news for the Reds is, or the bad news for the Braves, a walk is a run, a wild pitch is a run, a hit by pitch is a run. So while you got to be careful, you still have to be under control.
Broke his bat, grounded his shortstop, and the Braves get out of it. Unbelievable. Bases loaded, 1 away, and we're going to the bottom of the 13th, still without a run. Damage once again. Back-to-back innings that the Reds had loaded the bases. This time it was with 1 away, and somehow A.J. Minter was able to get out of the jam and keep it a scoreless game as we head to the bottom of the 13th. Atlanta has the bottom of their order: Markakis, Riley, and Acuna. And another chance to walk it off. And a pitching change for Cincinnati as Archie Bradley takes over on the mound for the Reds. Bradley, of course, acquired at the deadline from the Arizona Diamondbacks. One of their primary relief options in his time in the desert. Low back tightness kind of slowed him down in the late stages of the season. He had 5 scoreless outings to start his career as a Red after the trade, before giving up a solo homer to Edwin Encarnacion in his last outing. And here we go with Archie Bradley now, and in and out of the shadows, Nick Markakis will start things here in the bottom of the 13th.
And for Bradley, as a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer, curveball, change, only giving up 1 home run all year.
So we've talked about the records that have been set in this game already, and here's another one for the Braves. If they win it, they'll obviously do it walk-off style, and it would become the latest the Braves have ever claimed a walk-off win by innings in their postseason history. Was that a look of disbelief on Walt Weiss's face? Because we have the same one. There's a leadoff knock for Markakis. We've said it before, but the winning run is on to start the inning. The Braves had that same thing in the 10th and in the 12th. Leadoff hit, leadoff base runner reaches. And Nick's going to be pinch run for it.
Fastball here in. Good count. Good swing. Look how flat the swing is. On top of the baseball. Good hitting.
Pinch runner is Christian Pache. Exciting rookie outfielder. Will represent the winning run for Austin Riley now with nobody out. 13 innings was the longest that a game went during the regular season. That was in part due to the extra innings rule. Helped mitigate the long ones.
And Bradley could be slow to the plate, so he's a pitcher you can run on.
And you're talking about a young pinch runner who in his time in the minor leagues, 58 stolen bases, 96 attempts.
Speed, the primary asset of Pache. It's a good looking fastball that missed low apparently, and it's 2-0 now. New major league records for strikeouts in a postseason game. The longest scoreless postseason game ever played. 3-0 now.
Matty, I remember a story being David Bell's teammate in 2000. I played with the great Ricky Henderson. We were in the 13th inning or so, and he was leading off. I was hitting third. Stanley Javier was hitting second.
Riley has a base hit just past the dive at shortstop. And the winning run's at second now. The Pache got a little froggy on base there.
Back-to-back 2 good swings for the Braves. Level swing, good contact. So Ricky Henderson says to me, "Hey, Rod, 13th inning, I'm leading off. Ricky don't get paid for extra innings, so I'm going to walk. Javi will bump. I'm going to steal second. Javi will bump me to third. You give me a sac fly. Let's go have some dinner." That's exactly what happened. Walk, stolen base, bunt, sac fly.
Here's Acuna now. He's doubled today. A base hit wins it for the Braves. Houston has just won it in Minnesota. A 2-game sweep. And the Astros survive. They'll take on the winner of the White Sox Oakland series, and the A's have a 5-0 lead, trying to stave off an elimination in that one. A wild day. A ball and no strikes to Acuna. 2-0 now.
Matt, you know where the Astros advanced to play, right?
They would play in Oakland.
They would play in Dodger Stadium.
Oh, at Dodger Stadium against the Oakland A's. Oh,
wow.
Thick with irony. Or the White Sox.
Or the White Sox, right.
Oh, man.
Oh, my.
2-0 to Acuna. Grounded to third. The Reds will be satisfied with the out at second base as they force Riley.
Nice play here defensively. Good pitch, jam shot. The slide. And now, even though it's first and third, Matty, I think I walk Freeman here. I would load the bases. Little unconventional.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
And have the force play at every base.
It's going to be off for Bradley. Amir Garrett's going to try to get out of this mess. Pitching change. We'll be right back.
Jump shot.
The ballpark, they're as encouraged as they've been all day that their team can finally close this one out. In terms of the American League, the Astros closed out the Twins. That one's done. Houston advances to the ALDS. They'll get the winner of the White Sox A's series. That's in progress with Oakland on top 5-0. Blue Jays and Rays are also underway. And we've got the Yankees and Indians coming up in about 2 hours. Amir Garrett will try to mitigate this situation with runners at the corners and 1 away. Winning run 90 feet away with less than 2 out. Garrett was spectacular during the regular season. There is virtually no wiggle room for him here. Check out the infield alignment. Nick Castellanos is in from right. So they've effectively closed right field. And they've loaded up to try to prevent that run from scoring.
And Freeman just had a walk-off about 4 days ago here versus the Red Sox.
Check this out. Castellanos from right. He's playing third base. That moves Suarez to the shortstop spot. And they've loaded up the right side of the infield.
And remember, Castellanos came up as a third baseman.
This is fascinating. A blooper, a fly ball, a jam shot,
a walk.
A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Matt, we talked before about how Freddie Freeman this year, as great as he's been, he definitely has struggled more against lefties. His OPS about 500 points lower.
Bustin', this shadows don't make it any easier. That was a very defensive swing.
And the Braves have won it. Who else but Freddie Freeman to deliver the walk-off blow? Boy, it didn't come easily. The only run of the game in the bottom half of the 13th. Almost 5 hours after this one began.
Right man, right spot for the Braves. Little cement mixer. And the swing and the approach that will probably bring the MVP for Mr. Freeman this year. Dale Murphy, Chipper Jones, Freeman, the face of the Atlanta Braves,
Put him
comes
on
up.
Mount Rushmore. You got it. Freddie Freeman walks it off. A number of major league and franchise records set on this wild afternoon in Atlanta. We got a couple hours to have a bite to eat. I don't have enough time to write down the lineups for the Yankees and Indians game. That's our next piece of business as the fall frenzy continues. The Braves 1-0 winners in their opener against the Reds. For Alex Rodriguez, Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian coming up next. The conclusion of the White Sox and A's. Dave Fleming and Jess Mendoza on the call. We'll see you at 7 o'clock for the Indians and Yankees.